published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Current, the Daily Journal, the Hamilton Gazette, and the Hamilton News, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, the Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Mays Landing. I'll have an opening prayer. God of all nations, be with us and guide us as we enter a new year. Raise us up when we stumble and point us toward a better tomorrow. Grant that we may both perceive and know what decisions we are to make and receive grace and power to fulfill what is expected of us. Accept our humble prayers for ourselves and all humanity. Amen. We'll now face the flag for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Madam Chairwoman, before we begin, I just want to inform Commissioner Coursey and any other commissioners that may be getting texts. Our website is up and down because of the number of people checking on vaccinations. So they should still continue, if they can't get in, to continue to get in because our number has gone up. And additionally, Commissioner Days will not be on today's meeting because of illness, and Commissioner Gatto will be late.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Roll call.
Dallas.
Here.
Bertino.
Here.
Coursey.
Present.
Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Risley.
Here.
And Kern.
Here. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept the letter of Legislative Counsel Roger Steedle relinquishing his counsel.
Make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments?
Yeah, Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
I thought this was going to be held after we did the readings of the minutes, but since you brought it up, I am perplexed, to say the least, to hear that Roger has resigned from the Board of Commissioners. I have not had a conversation with him, but I did have a conversation with you earlier today, who informed me that Roger had stepped away. I'm a little taken back to the fact that almost the 11th hour, I was given notification that he had resigned. And so I'm told that some of my commissioners perhaps had conversations over the weekend regarding some of these issues and this particular issue. And the issue I'm referring to is apparently there are some issues regarding his language or his letter indicating that Thelma Witherspoon could not be seated. And there's a pending case before Superior Court Judge Marzak. I believe it's tomorrow. And what I'm hearing is that because he has not either been in court and argued a case in a while, if that's the case or not, I don't know if he was put under pressure, and I'm sure none of my colleagues would ever admit to any of that, if in fact that was the case. But the question I have for the Madam Chair and members of this committee, one is, who authorized Roger to send an opinion after there was a position or at least a swearing in after the Democratic Committee in Hamilton Township voted to seat Mrs. Witherspoon on a special election? Now, I know some of you are going to tell me the election was overturned by the judge and the certification was non and void, and you're absolutely right. There was a case law stated in a case similar to this in North Jersey where a woman won an assembly seat and it was challenged. And after it was challenged, it went to court. The judge threw it out, threw the certification out. The committee met and appointed her, and she ultimately won the assembly seat anyway. So it's my understanding that Mr. Bell and others went by a case law that was already out there. But the question I have before this board and to our chairwoman, who authorized or at least told Roger to send a response to that letter anyway. I'll pause and hope to get an answer, because I will say to each one of you, we can make this real quick, or we can prepare to sit here for a long meeting tonight. Somebody had to authorize him to do a response, and I'd like to know who, because I was never polled. I was never asked what my position was or is. So with that, I'll pause and I'll ask the chairwoman, and maybe somebody else can respond, but I can rest assured we're not going to move until I get an answer.
Well, Commissioner, I don't know if you will get an answer because I am not aware of anybody giving him that direction. We have stated our case. We're under a court order, and right now a judge is hearing it. If the judge says she can come sit, that's wonderful. We'll let her, she will come sit. It's not a matter of letting, it's a matter of a judge. So I really don't know if in fact he was requested to send that specific letter or email out.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Freeholder, Commissioner Bertino again. For those, the board members should be aware of the due process that happens when someone brings litigation against the board. The solicitor has to respond to that litigation. He can't ignore it. He doesn't have to get direction from the board. If someone wants to discuss it with him, I'm sure they're open to do that. But he simply was answering the request that was presented to him by Colin Bell, I guess. The solicitor that's sitting in today, I guess we have a new solicitor that's sitting in, Roger Steed, could actually speak to the legal ramification of not answering it. I'm not an attorney, nor do I pretend to be, but I would know that you'd have to answer that. And as the solicitor for our board, it was his responsibility and the right thing for him to do. He's representing all of us. He has to respond. He can't ignore it. Otherwise, he wouldn't do his due diligence as our board solicitor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other comments?
So I think Commissioner Ballas is trying to make a comment. He's on mute.
So, Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Ballas?
Yeah, I think what Commissioner Bertino stated is correct. Again, as Commissioner Corsi stated, I wasn't polled either before Roger made his comment. And I think that we really need to limit any comments reference to this, being it is pending litigation against the Board of Commissioners. So I think the least amount of comment, the better, and we move forward.
Thank you, Commissioner. I agree. Do I have any other comments?
So Madam Chair, out of 8 members of this board, I've heard from 3, and certainly I disagree with all 3 of your opinions, but you're certainly entitled to your opinion. I have never known Roger to take upon himself to make any statements or accusations or a ruling without some kind of feedback from the Board of Commissioners now, which would have been freeholders. And so that does not sit well with me. You can run and hide behind legal interpretation. You can sit here and ride and hide behind a pending court order. Let me be very clear. The judge already made his decision. He's going to hear a case on an emergency base, but that does not answer my question, who authorized Roger? Now, y'all can sit here and act cute if you want to, because I know some of you made phone calls. Now, if you want me to call your name, I'll do it. But I thought you'd be man and woman enough to make it up and say you had a conversation. Please don't push me to that point, because I will do it. I'm saying that as a commissioner of this board, every last one of us should have received a call from our attorney. Now, I don't know if this is coming something from the administration. I don't know if it was some side backdoor meeting to talk about not allowing her to see, and that's fine if you had some concerns. But I think each one of us should have received a call from Mr. Ferguson, from Mr. Siegel, regarding this issue. So apparently there was some conversations over the weekend with certain one of y'all, not every last one of us. Now, if you want to continue to operate like that, I will start calling you by name going forward. I've tried to be a gentleman. I try to be nice. We can agree to disagree. But what you're not going to do is sit here and play politics when it's politically expedient for you guys. It's not going to happen. And the case of the matter is this, and all due respect to Mr. Frank Ballas, Commissioner Ballas. When Frank Ballas assumed the position of Frank Formica, nobody objected to it. No Democrats, no Republicans, nobody. He didn't have an election. He was appointed. Fine and dandy, no objection. We all supported it. However, we questioned the fact that they waited until after the deadline to call for a special election. This young lady in particular, Ms. Witherspoon, she won. She was certified the judge because the Republicans were complaining that some people over there didn't get a ballot. And yes, there were some screw ups, to say the least, in terms of people receiving ballots, but she still had the most at that particular time. And because the committee people in that district met and unanimously voted her to sit in until the special election, then it came to our attorney that represents this board, as Mr. Ballas has indicated, all of us, or Bertino might have said it, but I didn't get a call for my opinion one way or another, whether they wanted to hear it or not. The last time I checked, I was still a commissioner on this board. Now, going forward, I'm going to make all of you aware that if you want to play them type of games, it's on. And you sit there and you look simple and stupid and grinning and smiling. If you want, let me call your name out. You're not going to like it. But I think it's a disservice. I guess I'm more hurt and taken back on the way it happened. And he has a right to resign if that's what he chooses to do. But I still question who authorized him to give an opinion. And of course, you all going to tell me nobody. And yes, he does represent the board, Jim. You're absolutely right. But if that was the case, you should have called every commissioner, at least got their feedback. Whether we agree with it or not, it was been the right thing to do. And so, you know, the fact of the matter is this. Before the board now, you made a motion to accept his resignation. And that's on the conversation, because I'm going to wait to farther in the meeting. But since you brought it up, Madam Chair, it was a perfect opportunity to talk about it. I don't agree that nobody knew nothing about it, because I believe somebody's telling a fib. But be as it may, we'll move on. I wish him well. He served his board well. I hate to see him go. And that before this board even, which brings me to my next point, when you do get to Resolution 56, was this person selected? Again, I was not in the know. I was not notified until the last minute that you picked somebody. Yeah, you give me a resume, it's outstanding, no question about it. But what's the rush? What's the rush? Don't tell me representation, because you still have attorneys from the administration side that weighs on issues regarding this board anyway. And so, Madam Chair, I'm going to, for the record, make it very clear, I am not happy. I don't like the way it went down. I don't know who's playing what games. And you know, you can like my comments or not. I really don't give a rat's tail. But at the end of the day, let's be fair across the board. Let's keep everybody in the loop. Whether you're a D or R or I, everybody should get the same exact information, not just a handful or few. And for y'all to have meetings, whoever y'all were, over the weekend, and again this morning and yesterday, I can't speak for nobody on this board but me. I can tell you I didn't receive a call, let alone an email. You want to play that game going forward, be prepared for the consequences. I reserve the balance of my time, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Have any other commissioner comments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, agree that Commissioner Corsi said eloquently. Conservative and cautious in his counsel and advice, and for him to give a legal opinion without consulting all of us sound like him. And I also being treated as a junior member of this board. I've been elected twice now, and I think I'm equally part of this board as everybody else, and I would like to be consulted when decisions are made.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Have any other comments? Oh, take a roll call. Have a roll call?
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
No.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
No.
Gatto, Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, I will now entertain a motion to add and move resolution number 56 to the top of the agenda.
Madam Chair, why don't we stick with the agenda and move to accept the minutes from December 1st and then move to the rest of the stuff?
I'm going to go by the way I have this written out right now, if you don't mind. I just
We
want
followed
to do
the agenda,
this
so-
topic right now. I want to know
We
that we
followed
have
the-
somebody seated.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we move on the accept the minutes of of December 1st of 2020. I mean, why do we have agenda if you're just going to jump all over the place? Just,
I'm not
it's 2
jumping all
seconds.
over the place, sir.
It's 2 seconds. You're going to go to the back of the agenda when you got to stay on the front of the agenda.
Sir. I just asked for a motion.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Do I have a second? I think Mr. Bertino, are you on mute?
Yeah, it's on now. I keep hitting the button and it's not doing anything.
Get a real system.
A cheap system.
Okay, all right, so I have a motion and a second. Any comments? No comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
No.
Fitzpatrick,
No.
Gatto, Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Appointment of Richard Andrian as legislative litigation counsel to the Atlantic County Board of County Freeholders.
Madam Chair, point of information.
I'm sorry?
Madam Chair, point of information.
Yes.
That's the resolution, not read into the record. The public don't know who you just hired other than the name. I think the resolution should be read into the record.
Okay, we'll have the resolution read into the record. You are absolutely correct. I was moved and, go ahead.
Oh, you said I'm correct? I've been correct all
No,
day?
I said you are correct. We
No, I said
moved it up.
No, I was saying, Madam Chair, I've been correct all day so far.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Appointment of Richard Andrian as legislative litigation counsel to the Atlantic County Board of County Commissioners. Whereas Atlantic County Ordinance Number 1219, do you want me to read the whole, just the title? I'm sorry, just the title, Chairwoman, or was that the request, just the title?
All right. Actually, I'm going to stop right now because do we need 5 or just a majority?
Yes.
What do we need?
You need 5.
And we don't have 5.
You don't.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I know how to play ball, and I know how to play politics, and I know how to horse trade. I have no objection to this gentleman. I don't know him from a can of paint, to say the least. But I see his resume speaks for itself. However, I will reconsider after the resolution is read into the record.
okay, thank you. And I'll redo the vote because we really didn't have that. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, do you want me to read the entire resolution or just the title? I just want to get clarification.
I am happy with just the title.
Okay. Appointment of Richard Andrian as Legislative Litigation Counsel, the Atlantic County Board of County Commissioners.
Okay, may I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Do I have any comments?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
yeah, if we could, for the public that's on and any of the commissioners that didn't have a chance to read his resume, if Mr. Adrian can just come on and just give a brief bio of his self before we move forward with the vote.
Okay, good idea.
Can you all see me and hear me at this moment? I just want to make sure.
We can.
My name's Rick Andrian. I am a prior assistant county counsel. I worked for the county for approximately 6 years. I've been practicing law for approximately 15 years. I'm presently a solo practitioner. I have my own private practice. I do a lot of labor and employment. I handle a lot of governmental issues. When I first started practicing law, my practice was entirely representing municipalities and governmental agencies. And that was for about the first 3 years of my career, 3.5. Then I started working for as an assistant county counsel and handled a ton of different issues, including labor and employment and government-related issues concerning liability of the county and a host of things that I can't get in depth to, but that's the general description. And like I said, since I left the county, I went to open up my own practice. Started with no clients. I've been doing my private practice. It's been going well for the past almost 6 years. If anybody has questions, I'm certainly open to them.
Do any commissioners have any questions?
Madam Chair,
Yep, Commissioner?
I don't want to belay this gentleman's potential appointment, but he said he didn't have no clients, and now he has some clients. I hope you don't expect the county to be your biggest client.
No.
Commissioners, I hope you understand that very clearly.
Commissioner, I'm going to do my best to call you commissioners, by the way. Commissioner Corsi, I think we've met before. You probably don't remember me because it's been a while. And certainly it would have been just briefing people on what was going on in the county on labor and employment issues. I by no means have an expectation of paying the bills on Atlantic County's work. I'm aware of the county's efficiency and how they deal with things. And that's not a surprise to me. I'm aware of it. I'm sensitive to it. And that's not an issue. My point, and I know you like to make jokes, and I appreciate jokes, is to, my point was simply to say, I started with no clients and I'm doing well. If you want to know who I am, that's who I am. I'm the kind of person who makes things happen, who works hard and serves clients. And that would be you all in this instance.
Thank you. Chair, I just have one comment and I'm done. First of all, Richard, please, Richard, don't take it personal. It had nothing to do with you being appointed. I just didn't like the process in which the way it went down. I heard nothing but good things about you. I'm a little old, so I can't remember meeting you, but if you said you did, your memory's probably sharper than mine. That's why you practice law and I practice trying to be a public servant. And so I certainly wish you well, and that I'm going to probably be your biggest headache.
Thank you, and I understand the process. I don't take offense to it by any means. I get it entirely, and you all have a job to do. I get it.
Do I have any other commissioner questions of Mr. Andrian? Seeing none, we'll have the roll call.
Ballas,
Yeah, before we vote, do we need to open this one to public or not? Like we usually do with all the resolutions?
We do. Madam Clerk, do we need to open to it? Yeah, okay. So
he's
do we have
correct.
Do we have any public that wants to make any comments at this time?
Just give me a moment.
Okay.
Nothing.
Some time to write in.
Okay. Not at this time, Chairwoman.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Roll call, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Pogue has a question.
Okay.
We're going to raise him from an attendee to a panelist. Mr. Pogue, you can speak.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
Not to put Mr. Andrian on the spot to start with, but ordinarily for an attorney, is it not a good practice to find out your client's position on a particular legal matter before you would unilaterally express an opinion before Superior Court?
I don't want to walk that line of assuming things that I don't know to be true.
That's why I asked was hypothetical.
Yeah, I don't think that's productive for me to answer. I will just say that the way I act, the way I conduct myself is to communicate with the client, and I'll leave it at that. I'm not one to kind of throw stones at people, particularly when I'm not fully aware of what was going on in that particular situation. I know I see where you're going. I'm not in a position, nor would I be, to criticize an attorney or to make a judgment about something I'm not fully aware of.
And I really wasn't asking you to do that, just to get an idea of what in fact would be general best practice for attorneys in the state, which I think all of us, not even being attorneys, are well aware of. But hopefully this is the extent of the controversy that you wind up dealing with this year, as opposed to only the beginning of it. Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, do we have any other questions or comments?
No, Madam Chair, we do not.
Okay, thank you. We'll have the roll call then.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes from December 1st, 2020. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the December 1, 2020 minutes as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any comments? Okay, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino, Bertino,
Yes again.
Corsi,
I think he got scared. Richie and Amy showed up. Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
You're muted.
I think she said yes.
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Now, I am going to ask Mr. Andrian, do we need to go back to the first resolution that we did not have a quorum on? We didn't have the 5 votes.
But I would revisit it for the sake of prudence and getting it right. Yes.
Okay. So, Madam Clerk, I'm going to go back for the vote.
For the acceptance of the letter,
Yes, please.
Do you want to entertain a new motion and carry through a new vote?
Yes. So,
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to accept a letter of resignation from our former solicitor and thank him for his services over all the years. Roger Steele.
thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any comments?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner?
for the reasons I stated before, I still believe that, and I will be voting no.
Okay, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes, move it, Prince.
Corsi,
No.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
No.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
and Risley.
Yes, with regrets, much regrets.
Thank you. Motion carries. Okay. So then I'm just going to reiterate, as most people, have heard, that anyone that would like to speak during the public comments portion, please type yes in the question and answer box. You'll be raised from an attendee to a panelist so that you can speak. When you're raised, please state your name and the town you reside. Okay, is Pat Diamond here?
Yeah, Commissioner, I am on. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I know you and your entire team have been very, very busy. So, we're ready for your update.
Okay, briefing as of January 19th, 2021. Cumulative Atlantic County positive COVID-19 cases are 15,577, and that is up from 11,921 reported to you on December 15th. Fortunately, 7,200 individuals are being reported as cleared from isolation. However, unfortunately, in Atlantic County, there have been 416 deaths reported. Most, if not all, of these patients have had underlying conditions that makes it difficult for them to recover. We are seeing an increase in hospitalizations. This is causing some staffing and space issues at our hospitals, but so far they are able to handle it. Fortunately, the level of influenza is still at a low level in our county and across the state, so this is not overtaxing our hospitals. Daily updates to those numbers and cumulative cases are reported daily on our website at aclink.org. We are still seeing, as you notice, that increase in transmission in the community within families and group gatherings. We have asked the state for 10 more contact tracers, as some have left or just have not worked out. Most workplaces, schools, and long-term care cases, however, are also contacted by public health nurses to ensure COVID-19 transmission prevention measures continue to be followed. We've also brought on an epidemiologist in mid-December who is working specifically on COVID disease to further evaluate causes of transmission in our community so that we can ensure that proper interventions are put in place or recommended. Now, testing throughout our county is available at CVS's, at Atlantic Care urgent care testing sites, at Walgreens, and in addition, there's occasionally you'll see COVID testing sites being popped up in recommendation with the State Department of Health and in partnership with them. Just this week, we are offering testing at the Galloway Library, our county branch, and it's started today and it's going on and will continue on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There's an appointment scheduler on our website, so people please feel free to test if you wish to know whether you're maybe COVID positive because perhaps you're exposed to someone that's positive or perhaps you're symptomatic. However, the test is just to remind everybody it is free of charge, and it is at the Atlantic County Library branch off of Jimmy Leeds Road in Galloway Township. Now I'd like to move on to our vaccination efforts. The Atlantic County Division of Public Health has given over 2,800 first doses so far to individuals here at Stillwater and at the Atlantic Cape Community College. And those individuals were all part of the priority groups. Initially, it was some healthcare workers, and which included EMS and long-term care residents. And then it moved on to include fire and police, and then most recently, it includes individuals 65 years of age on up, and those individuals between the ages of 16 and 64 that have underlying health conditions as listed under CDC guidelines. We will continue at the college, at the Atlantic Cape Community College, to provide first doses up to the end of this week. Then starting next week, we will complete the vaccine series for those individuals that we've administered the first dose to. However, starting this Friday, January 22nd, in partnership with Atlantic Care, we will be beginning administering vaccines at the mega site in the Atlantic City Convention Center. We will use our Medical Reserve Corps volunteer vaccinators until public staff are freed up from ACCC site, which will be at the 4th week in February. Atlantic Care will be using their own scheduling system, which we hope to announce soon. So that's my report. If there's any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Risley. Is that you or Bertino?
Yeah.
Sorry, Commissioner Bertino.
Thank you. Pat,
Yes.
one of the questions I keep getting asked, and I'm sure all the commissioners are, we're always getting calls on vaccines, where they can be given. I believe the state of New Jersey, maybe you could explain the process of how they give out vials of vaccines, how many are allocated to Atlantic County, and how that works from the Department of Health, because some people don't understand that there's only so many vials at a time coming out, and I want you to explain that to the public, please.
Sure. We had received information from the State Department of Health, really the last couple of months, that we would be receiving a certain amount of vaccine, and we had hoped that the volume would be much more than it is right now. And what happens is that we put in a request for a vaccine, and we submit it to the State Department of Health. They in turn turn around and they submit it to the federal government, Centers of Disease Control. And then based on the amount available by the federal government, they will allocate doses to New Jersey, and then New Jersey in turn allocates it to the various sites that are offering vaccine. So the last 2 weeks that we have asked for vaccine, we have only received half of what we requested. So it's and especially with the expanded groups that are eligible for vaccine, there just is not the supply to meet that demand. We would love to vaccinate more and more people, and we are equipped to do so. However, with the lack of vaccine availability, it's just not possible at this time.
Yeah, another question, please. Pat, what's the allocation we're receiving from the state per week or per month? What are they telling us that they're giving us at this time?
Well, we had requested 2,000 last week. We received 1,000. We requested 2,000 the previous week, and we received 1,000. However, for the future requests, we are actually going to be working with Atlantic Care, and they are going to be requesting vaccine, and that will be administered at the Atlantic City Convention Center. So they're going to be actually working with 1,000 doses to begin with, and then they're going to be increasing the number of doses from then. So we will not ourselves, Atlantic County Health Department will not be ordering it. It will actually be Atlantic Care Healthcare System that will order it, and we will be helping them administer it to the community. But people can go anywhere in the state to get a vaccine. They are not just restricted to Atlantic County. It's a federal vaccine. They can go, ShopRite offers vaccine now. Our federally qualified health centers have vaccine. Is there a lot of it? No, there's not. But people can go anywhere they wish to in the state. And all of the vaccines require a second dose for effectiveness.
One other question, and I'll be done. For the schedule, the way the state has it, they have us graded in the categories 1A, 1B, 1C. How do they keep track of when that first classification is completed, all the 1As are done? Number two, when people do go to these sites, do they have to pre-register? Do they have to call and schedule to let them know they're coming? How's that work?
As far as scheduling, right now it's all by appointment. And that is to keep it in a organized fashion, because we have for years set up vaccination clinics. But the unique thing about this is that you've got to keep social distancing in mind. So you have to go by appointment, because you can't have people in queues, because they have to be, at least 6 feet between themselves. Especially in January, you really advise, you have to make an appointment. We advise them, please do not arrive 5 minutes before your scheduled appointment, so we can take you in an organized fashion. We want to keep them safe. We don't want to have transmission occurring when we're trying to vaccinate. In addition, with this vaccine, we are required to observe anyone that gets the vaccine for 15 minutes after they receive it, to make sure that there's not any adverse reaction. If there's a person has exhibited a previous reaction to a vaccine, that they report it on a consent form, we ask them to stay for 30 minutes. So that's some of the limitations regarding space for the vaccine. And I'm sorry, could you repeat that first question you had? Or did I answer both?
That was the one in reference to how's the state keeping track of the classifications, 1A, 1B, so they know that particular category is gone, because people are asking me, maybe they're 64 and a half years old, they're not 65, they don't meet the criteria. When do they got to wait? And how is that being decided at the state level, when they can go forward or request that the vaccine be given?
Well, the state followed the CDC guidelines. So I think what will happen is the state will follow CDC guidelines when they decide to expand it. And I would imagine, it would be depending on the supply, if there's more available, and hopefully there will be more available soon. So it's CDC that the state has followed in previous expansions, and I would imagine they would also follow it moving forward.
Madam Chair, question.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you. Pat, after someone has received the first dose, what guarantee does that person have of receiving the second dose? I guess they're given an appointment date. Is that person guaranteed of getting the second dose?
Right now, it is guaranteed. I have not heard anything other than that. In fact, we did receive doses to complete the series on those first individuals that received vaccine. We don't even need to order that. That's already in the pipeline once the first series has been received.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yeah, Commissioner.
Yeah, Pat, for you, Pat, I just want to compliment you. Number one, I've heard from several people who've gotten vaccinated at ACCC that it is a very well-oiled machine and run really, really efficiently. So I just want to compliment your staff and all partners who are doing that. My stepbrother is a police officer and personally went through it and told me about his experience as well. And again, just couldn't say enough good things. I'm kind of sad to hear that we're going to close down ACCC because of the mega site opening in Atlantic City. But I know Commissioner Coursey is going to make sure it's just as well run over there. But I'm hoping that the capacity on vaccines will increase. I know the governor has mentioned on numerous press conferences over the last week that I think the state of New Jersey is only getting 100,000 vaccines a week, and then that has to be distributed across the state. So I know, I think Commissioner Bertino, you just mentioned it, that our constituents are frustrated and, only see a few dates on our website looking to schedule an appointment, and they can't. It's just as frustrating for us to not be able to offer more, I think. So just asking everybody for patience as we shift over to Atlantic City, and hopefully we continue to ramp up once we're over there. Yeah. So, and Pat, just wanted to compliment the team.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass it along, Commissioner.
Thank you. Any other commissioner comments or questions for Pat?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner.
Of course.
No, I yield to the junior.
I think he just likes saying.
Florida Junior.
I think he just likes saying that.
So, first of all, Pat, I just want to thank you and your staff for everything that you're doing. I'm sure you're putting in very, very long hours, and it's really appreciated and needed. the question I have is the allocation that's going to like the ShopRites and any other pharmacy throughout Atlantic County. Does that go against the allocation that's requested from the county, or are they independent on their own?
No, it's the state collects all the requests from everybody. Pharmacies, like some private pharmacies offering vaccine for like qualified health centers, and also like local health departments. And so based on that request, okay, they submit all that request to the CDC, and then they make a determination of how much the state gets. And the state in turn takes a look at, vaccine usage, who's using it, who's reporting it. And they also make a determination, based on that. But we do record for all doses to make sure that they're in there. They're very aware of what we're administering, so we don't miss an opportunity for a dose. So that's how they make that determination. A couple of things: what the request is and what we're doing with it.
Perfect. And also, when the county is giving the vaccines, are they requesting insurance information for reimbursement if someone has insurance?
No, we're not requesting that. However, and really that's the vaccine itself is free. However, we are looking at an opportunity to perhaps put in for FEMA for reimbursement for our administrative costs.
Okay. Yeah, I understand some other counties are collecting insurance. If you have it, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. They need to be turned away.
Right. No, they can't be turned away. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Commissioner Corsi.
Madam Chair, the battles were so long, I lost my chain of thought, but that's unusual for me, but be as it may. To my colleague over there, Amy, yes, just remember, when they do come to Atlantic City, it's always a great day here. And we're going to make sure everybody's comfortable to come get their shots. My question would be to Pat. Do we know when the convention center site will be open?
We have heard we're doing some dry runs this week, Wednesday and Thursday. We've got 150 individuals, AtlanticCare and ourselves and the state National Guard and their team to set up the process. Okay, but what AtlanticCare has said that as far as getting individuals in to actually get vaccinated, they hope to begin on Friday. Okay, so, but as far as making that website available so people can register online to gain access to a vaccine at the Atlantic City Convention Center, I'm not sure when they're going to make that live, to be quite honest with you. But they're starting ramping up.
So would it be fair to say, and this is the last question for you, so would it be fair to say, because there's no definitely date for Atlantic City to open, Atlantic Cape Community College will continuing, and also those who are already scheduled to go to AtlanticCare, they will continue to go to those sites until the Atlantic City site is open?
Okay, two things, all right. We are finishing up at Atlantic Cape Community College first doses this week, okay. The end of this week, we are looking at the convention center to start opening, okay? So they will start administering their first doses. However, any first dose that we administered at Atlantic Cape Community College, we will be returning there to give those people the second dose. So we're going to be split. We're mostly staff are going to be at Atlantic Cape Community College. Mostly our Medical Reserve Corps volunteers will be at Atlantic City Convention Center until they both come together. And hopefully at the time there'll be much more vaccine. So, we'll be able to get it out.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, if there's no other commissioners' comments or questions, I'm going to ask, is there any public comments or questions?
Yes, Chairwoman Kern, there is another question from Mr. Pogue. We're going to raise him from an attendee to a panelist. And he can ask his question, direct his question to Ms. Diamond.
Thank you.
Pogue, you're on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The question is, are the saliva tests being done at Galloway closer in accuracy to the instant tests that you can find at places, or to the PCR tests being done at Public Works?
The test that is being done is the PCR test at Galloway. It will take a couple of days for you to receive your results.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Pogue. Do we have any other questions from the public?
Chairwoman Kern, there are no other questions from the public, but I would just like to remind the public that when a resolution has been announced, that you would like to make a comment to put yes at that time, so that we know what resolution that you would like to speak. I believe the names that I'm looking at are comments for the resolution 48. So we can move on.
Okay, and then we do that during public comments, right? Okay, so at this, thank you so much, Pat. We really
Thank you, Pat.
appreciate
Okay.
everything you and your staff are doing.
Okay, you're welcome. Just stay healthy. Just remember those fundamental things, okay? Social distancing, wearing masks, washing hands, and avoid gatherings. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to move 47 and 48 to the top of the agenda.
That's what I was just going to ask, to entertain a motion to move number 47 and 48 to the top of the agenda.
Second.
Motion made in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, resolution number 47.
Resolution supporting the Atlantic Cape Community College's application to the New Jersey Department of Education for the Securing Our Children's Future Bond Grant Act in the amount of $1,330,000.
Move.
Motion?
Move.
So moved. Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. I would first like to ask the commissioners that are heading the committees for education and budget if they can make their comments first before we go through any other commissioners' comments.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll yield to the Budget Committee first, and then as the Chair of the Education Committee, I'll try to wrap up the back of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Budget Committee standpoint on the Cape Community Resolution, and anybody on committee, keep me honest here. I think the discussion that we had was the bond, once it goes in place, would be replacing debt that would be rolling off. So really, a really minimal impact to the budget. There's no down payment required in the budget for the debt service. I think, and maybe Donnie can keep me honest, I think this one was 0.10 of a cent on the rate if the community college was successful in receiving the grant. Did I miss anything, guys?
Are you good?
Just one question. Are you speaking to the, can you hear me? Oh, sorry. Are you speaking with regards to resolution 47?
Only 47, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Corsi.
Yeah, we're only dealing with Casey forgot on the western part of the county. We're only dealing with one resolution at a time. It would be 47 at this time. So let the record also reflect that the Education Committee met on both of these resolutions, but on resolution 47, it was explained to us by Jerry and others about this $1.3+ million for Atlantic Cape Community College. We think it's warranted. We think that it would best serve the surrounding community as a whole, and that not only does Atlantic Cape Community College serve Atlantic City and Mays Land area, it also serves the Cape May County area as well. And so the purpose of to have our meeting the other day, because we have a new member on the committee, Commissioner Frank Ballas, and we wanted to make sure he had the opportunity to hear prior to a meeting what was going on, what was the outcome, and he seemed to have been very astute to it at all from the beginning. So it didn't take much to bring him up to speed on that. It does pay to be an elected official here and there. So he was very astute to get up to speed on it very quickly. But also, we do have on the line today, I saw President of Atlantic Cape Community College, Dr. Gaba. I'm sure she will weigh in, give the background in terms of what she thinks. But Madam Chair, and to certainly to my colleague over there in the Budget Committee, I think we covered all the grounds on it. And I think it's something we should get unanimously supported.
Okay, thank you. Do I have any other commissioner questions, comments?
Madam Chair,
Yep, Commissioner.
this one for Dr. Gaba. I had the opportunity to read the application that she's doing. So the additional classes that they're going to teach, I think it would be good if she gave the public an idea of some of the expanded opportunities that the ACC students are going to have if this goes, as it goes through. Thank you.
Do we have any other comments? Questions for the freeholders? Are you suggesting we bring Dr. Gaba up now before the final vote, Commissioner?
That is correct.
Yes, okay. Dr. Gaba, I'm sure she's here. Do we need to bring her up?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We see you. We
Good,
can.
good.
Welcome, welcome.
Yes, what you have before you regards our application that we're going to be submitting to the state under the Securing Our Children's Future Bond Act, and it's really a renovation project for 3 of our buildings, the B building complex. It's 18,200 square feet. The total cost of the project will be about $5 million. And if we get the grant will cover from the state $4 million, and then we're looking to get the match. We're basically doing a renovation of a building that's 50 years old. And what we want to do is upgrade the heating, the air conditioning, retrofit it with new technology, additional restrooms, which will be ADA compliant, as well as painting, flooring, lighting, and a general makeover. We are proposing to house in the B building complex 2 new programs. One program in game development and game design, and the other program, which is a part of the whole booming esports industry. The other program that we're looking to develop will be in cybersecurity. And we're all aware of the things that are happening with technology and how it's advancing, computer hacking, so on and so forth. It's a very, very big field that we need to train people in. So these will be the 2 academic programs that will be in those buildings. As I mentioned, it's a 3-building complex. We're going to be offering a retrofitted classrooms for the laboratories, the computer laboratories. There'll be also additional faculty offices, but this is mainly a renovation project of buildings that are over 50 years old that will serve the community in terms of the programming that we plan to put there in game design and also in esports and cybersecurity. Our application is due to the state by March the 1st, and we really appreciate the support of the county, and we're seeking the 1.3 million as being the match.
Thank you, Dr. Gaba. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Dr. Gaba at
Madam
this time?
Chair, I have one questions to the president. When you talk in terms of the 50-year-old building, which building would you be referring to? Is that the Atlantic City Charles Worthington building?
No, it's on the Mays Landing campus. The B buildings are on the main Mays Landing campus.
Okay, so everything will be going to the Mays Landing campus and nothing to the
Yes.
other? Okay.
Not at this time under this project.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I
Yes,
would just
Commissioner.
like to say that we all, and I very strongly support Atlantic Community College. It's a great asset to the county. They do a great job. Yes, some of the buildings are old. They do need upgrading. They do need the modern technology with their heating and air conditioning systems. And I'm 100% behind this project in every way, shape, or form. It is a great savings to Atlantic County residents to be able to send their kids there for a couple of years as a 2-year college and save a whole lot of money. I'm one of them that knows. So I am very, very thankful that we have our community college and support this 110%. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other comments from the commissioners or questions for Dr. Gaba?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner.
Yeah, so a question or comment to the president. I'm to understand that, these buildings being 50 years old, if this grant was not in place for an application, either now or sometime in the very near future, this renovation would still need to take place at the full cost of $5.3 million to the county instead of only having to come up with 1.3, correct?
We'd have to do the renovation at some point in time because the buildings are old. It's a 3-building complex. So, we ideally like to do all the 3 at the same time. But as we go over time, if we don't get this funding, we'll just have to do it piecemeal. I'd rather not do it piecemeal. It'll serve the residents of our county and the students that we have best if we do the entire project at one time. And it's only 18,200 square feet.
Right. So instead of the county having to pay the full boat on this, we're only paying 25% of the renovation.
Oh, yes.
That needs to take place.
Yeah, and we are very, very fortunate. This is really a competitive grant, and I think we have a very strong application. The state will fund if we get this, fund up to a maximum of $4 million. So this is an opportunity that we could not let go by us. And the other part of the requirement from the state is that we get the match of the 25%. And if the state is going to give us this $4 million to renovate a building complex that's over 50 years old, we cannot let this go by.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm Dr. Gaba. Do I have any other questions or comments for Dr. Gaba? Okay, thank you so much for being here. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. We'll have a roll call. I didn't open up to the public. Does anyone in the public have a question for the commissioners on this resolution? Do we have anybody for?
We have no questions for Resolution 47, Chairwoman.
Okay, then I'll take a roll call.
Dallas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Scatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Resolution.
Chair.
Yes.
Man, I can't go by another moment without saying this. I want to thank Commissioner Days for coming on. I know he's not feeling well, but he's on at a very critical point of these 2 resolutions. I thought it would be noted that I really appreciate it. You can see him coughing and carrying on. So I can tell he's not feeling well, but thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, so Resolution 48.
Resolution supporting the Atlantic County Special Services School District and the Vocational School District of Atlantic County's application to the New Jersey Department of Education for the Securing Our Children's Future Bond Grant Act, $13,500,000.
Make the motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Once again, I'm going to ask for a report from the Education as well as the Budget Committees. Who's going first?
I yield to my gentle lady from the other part of the county over there, the Budget Committee first.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. And Madam Chair, I'm hoping, because Dr. Gaba just did, Dr. Gunther will hopefully kind of refresh everyone's memories on the components of the project that we previously discussed. But just from a financial perspective, we did talk about this again, similar situation to Resolution 47. It's a 75% funding from the state with a 25% match. We would be handling this one as well as a bond ordinance, which would eventually have to come to the freeholder board for approval should the vocational school be successful in receiving the grant. Again, we're not anticipating that the award of the grant would be this year, so likely would be included in our 2022 budget planning from a debt service perspective. And again, we are anticipating debt service to be rolling off as these potential new debts would be coming on. There's no down payment required in the budget for the debt service. And the anticipated impact to taxpayers as a result of that new debt would be approximately, and again, Bonnie, correct me if I get this number wrong, 0.25 cents on the tax rate in terms of our the pieces of our budget. I think I covered everything that we discussed. I think that was everything. If I missed anything, let me know, guys.
Commissioner Gatto, just one question. Is that 0.25 cents or 0.25 of 1 cent?
0.25 of 1 cent.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Corsi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Once again, I concur with the chairwoman of the Budget Committee. Same questions and concerns at the school committee as well, Education Committee. We asked some questions. They answered it through Jerry. There's been a lot of questions, and as we go into it, Madam Chair, I'm sure there'll be some additional questions, but there's been some questions in terms of what impact this would have on the county taxpayers. And I had this conversation with Jerry and as well as the superintendent. I expect them to answer those questions momentarily. Also, the committee understood. And let me say this, and if I may, Madam Chair, I want to just deviate for 30 seconds and then I don't have to come back on this particular issue. I think it ought to be clear. One, I don't know about all my colleagues, but I received so many calls over the weekend. I don't know who gave my number out, and it's okay, because I'm a big boy, I can handle it. And the comments and the questions and some of the nastiest attitudes of people who called, whether they're for or against it, they have a right. But some of them are just so ignorant and rude. You can't get word in edgewise because you call and ask me a question. Why am I supporting the resolution? But then you don't want to hear the answer. And then you give me all your nasty remarks. But be as it may, those folks are certainly entitled to their opinion. But I made it very clear to most of them who wanted to listen. The only entity that could apply for this grant money would be the vocational school. You're not taking money from public schools or other districts. They're the only ones that can apply for this money. We had this conversation. And for the record, Madam Chair, as you remember, and most of my colleagues, with the exception maybe one or two, we had a committee meeting and we invited every superintendent in the district because they raised issues about why should ACIT get this money and that it's not fair to the other school districts. And Dr. Gunther, in my opinion, did an outstanding job trying to explain why they was not entitled to it. It wasn't a Gunther's rule. It's just the nature of the business. They tell you it's been the voters voted it down. But what struck me with this whole situation is this issue is that at the end of the day, if ACIT does not apply, somebody else can. We lose out on it. I think ACIT is a quality, state-of-the-art institutional school, county school as a high school. If you don't like Gunther, you don't like Denny, take it out on Denny and Gunther, but don't take it out on the kids. Don't take it out on ACIT. Unfortunately, there's a group of people who is just hell-bent against it no matter what you say. And so Dr. Gunther, I asked him today, Madam Chair, that I had a couple of questions that I asked that he asked today. And one was, what impact would this have on the taxpayers of Atlantic County? And he can answer them after I give them out. Two, the issue became that we didn't ask this question at the committee meeting, but the questions I was getting this weekend, Madam Chair, was it's the ACIT's rule, or at least their policy, that if you're not an A student or B student in your school, they reject you in the application. Dr. Gunther needs to answer that question and clear the air on that and how the process works. And I think we had this in our committee meetings before. And then the other issue was that the sending districts are indicating at the end of the school year, these questions came up after our committee meeting. The sending districts are saying when they send kids to the ACIT, they're charged one thing, but at the end of the year, they get another bill. And so they say we're extra charging the school districts. I make no qualms about it. It's like a broken record. I will never, ever tell a parent where to send their kids to school. I live in Atlantic City. I pay school taxes. I send my kids to private school. They chose they wanted to go. That's why I send them. But if there's a kid in Atlantic City or Pleasantville, in the district in which I represent, don't feel comfortable going to their public high school, and they think they have a better chance at the ACIT, why would we encourage that? Why would we not encourage that? We tell our kids to go get a good education, come back and get a good job, etc. And so there is some programs that ACIT offers that the other schools do not. And when we met with these superintendents, we met with them, and I think 2, maybe 3 came back, and we said to them in the committee meeting, give us your ideas, your suggestions, and recommendations. We never received them. Only one objected to it from the door was Greater Egg Harbor Regional, which was no secret. And I think Pleasantville came in either with a recommendation or said they were implementing a program. But the onus, in my opinion, is on the other schools and the other superintendents, where they should come up with means or ways to keep students in their school and offer programs, not hate on ACIT, but how can they all come together and implement and encourage programs in their school districts so the money does not leave that school district? That's the real question we ought to be asking, opposed to just objecting because it's not fair. But the public schools, again, cannot apply for this grant money. It's just like they couldn't apply for the money for ACCC. And so, even though that's a community college, the point is, at the end of the day, we're going to have folks who agree with us and disagree with it, and it's okay. But if we're able to answer those questions, and I said to Dr. Gunther, make sure you tell it, how much is it going to cost the taxpayers per $100,000 on their home? Got to be very clear about that, because people giving out misinformation or just spreading lies to be spreading them, or just for some apparent reason, just hate the system. For whatever reason it is, I hope we can answer a lot of those questions tonight, and that moving forward, this project, this resolution passes, and ACC and ACIT received the grant money, and we move forward. I reserve the balance of my time. I'm sure I have some more questions, Madam Chair, going forward, but from the committee's point of view, I don't think we had any objection to it. And I stand corrected by any of my colleagues that was on the committee, that's on the committee.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, at this time, do I have any other questions, comments from our other commissioners? Yeah. Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Thank you, Chairwoman. Yeah, I have some questions that came over the course of the weekend with all the messages and questions that we got. Remember Bonnie saying in the budget meeting that we would have debt rolling off and this debt would replace that. Do we have that much debt, $13 million rolling off, or will this be additional? Will this increase our debt load? You want me to go through all the questions?
Well, Bonnie's on. I think Bonnie's on. Bonnie can answer that question. She's gone over that with me. So, Bonnie, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
So the $13.5 million is going to be over a 20-year period. And based on the analysis that was done by Leon Costello, I believe he used a 3% interest rate, which currently those rates are lower than that at this moment, would be about $894,000 annually for a 20-year period. Does that answer your question?
Added to the that we currently have.
Well, debt service is fluent in that we add debt service each year if I sell bonds, if we do Chapter 12 for the college, and we also lose debt service annually. So over the course of the next 3 years, it's going to be over $5 million that we lose in debt service. but we will also be adding debt service at that same time. I don't want you to think that that number is stagnant, because it's not.
Okay, I understand. Again, I had the same question. Will the $13.5 million increase the tax rate? We understand that it's going to be about $3 per 100,000, but will it increase the tax rate that the county is charging to taxpayers, or that taxpayers contribute? What will the operating costs of the addition, meaning like utilities and that sort of thing, add to the budget of ACIT? And finally, what happens if we don't get the grant? Will you proceed with the $53 million project anyway? And that one more. That wasn't the final one. Thanks. Most of those questions were mine, but the consistent question that I received from taxpayers was, why wasn't this put on a ballot like any other school addition would be put? Is there a different rule for county schools? Is it different for VOTEC schools? That's the big question that people want to hear the answer to.
Sorry, do we have an answer for why? I mean, I don't know whether it was timing of the grant when it came out. I'm not, right now, it obviously could never go on to a ballot because we need these in, but I don't know between you and Michelle. Yep, Commissioner?
Yeah, so the way I understand it is that in order to file this application, you must have the backing of bond. You cannot file the application and then say, we'll put it out to referendum if we happen to get it. So either we say we're going to back the bond, or we say you cannot apply for it and return that $40 million. So that's why it can't go out to public referendum. Because the public referendum would have to be $53 million.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick, you're on mute.
So it would have to be for the whole project, not just the match.
That's correct.
Thank you. Okay. So, tax rate, utilities.
Okay, so I guess when we get to, so some of those are for Mr. Gunther, I believe. Is there anything else for Bonnie at this time?
No, thank you.
Okay, and then I'll go back to when we have Mr. Gunther at the end of the commissioner's questions. Okay.
Madam, just point of information, I don't want to forget. When Bonnie's asking her questions, I am told that there's a deadline. So I think we need to be very clear about that part too for filing. I just don't want to forget it in all of our conversation.
Right, you're absolutely correct about that. Very close deadline right now. Do I have any other comments from our commissioner?
Madam Chair.
Yes. Yeah, Commissioner Bells.
So can I just suggest that we bring Dr. Gunther on and anyone else that has information about this grant, and then we bring the public on, and then we make our our commissioner comments. That way we're not repeating ourselves after all the comments are done.
Okay, I could do that. Unless anybody wanted to make any comment at this time, or just I'll bring Phil on. Phil, you're here, correct?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Following Dr. Gaba, we are applying actually for the same grant, the Securing Our Children's Future Bond Act. The Bond Act was passed in 2018. It has taken some time for the application to become available from the state, and we're actively involved in that right now. The Bond Act provides $350 million to expand CTE programs throughout the state of New Jersey. And there are 21 county vocational schools in the state. The only entities that can apply for this grant, as previously stated, are county vocational school districts. And the community colleges have a smaller share of funding that is available for the community colleges for upgrades as well. When this was put out and sponsored by Senator Sweeney, it was to address the shortage of seats in county vocational schools ACIT, like the other schools throughout the state, we receive 2 applications for every 1 seat that we have in our programs. So we have been working with our architects and planning how we could address this, updating our long-range facility plan to address this, and preparing an application for the Bond Act. The Bond Act grant is competitive. We will submit an application. There are other districts throughout the state. There will be 4 awards that fall into what is considered a large pool of $40 million statewide. So we will be competing with other county districts throughout the state for this grant funding. I have to tell you, I've been involved at the vocational school district for 26 years, and I have never seen funding available like this at a 75% grant, 25% local match. And when you combine that to the low interest rates that are available today, this truly is a, I don't want to say once in a lifetime, but a very rare opportunity for the County of Atlantic to proceed and to address the workforce needs of the county going forward. So the project that we are looking at is a $53.5 million project. It will be a building that will create space for several new programs, as well as allow us to house one of our largest programs in updated space that we really need. So what we're looking at is new programs in aviation maintenance, welding, HVACR, which is heating, ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration. We're bringing back our diesel technology program and our auto collision repair program. Our health sciences program, which includes general health sciences, but also includes dental assisting and medical assisting. Those programs will be greatly expanded. And then we are also expanding our culinary program, which is one of our biggest programs, as well as our building trades. And we are looking at adding to health sciences. I should also mention exercise science, which is a gateway into a number of health sciences careers. So with those programs, we would be building a structure about 130,000 square feet that would include 16 career and technical labs, general education classrooms, and support spaces needed to allow us to take an additional 425 students from throughout Atlantic County. We receive approximately 1,000 applications for our freshman class. We can take about 425 right now. So this would help to address some of the demand that we have for career and technical programs in Atlantic County. As was mentioned by Dr. Gaba, the grant application has to be in by March 1st. Now, the county's, the resolution tonight is that the county is agreeing to bond the local share of the project, which is $13.5 million. So we would be able to build a $53.5 million for a $13.5 million investment by the county and address the workforce needs that were identified clearly in the Angelou Economics Report and the county's economic development strategy. Aviation maintenance and those programs that support aviation are certainly indicated as the county is trying to diversify their economy. With aviation maintenance, we would have the first operating maintenance program in the county, and we would also have a partnership with Atlantic Cape to hopefully have their adult program involved as well. And we have a partnership already with aviation with Embry-Riddle University as well as Atlantic Cape Community College. Madam Chair, do you want me to address some of the questions that have been asked?
Yes, please.
Okay. The tax impact question has already been answered by Commissioner Gatto, and her numbers are actually a little bit lower than what we put in the viability report that was done. And if I'm understanding them correctly, We thought the impact might be, depending on whatever happens with debt service in the future. And the county treasurer, I'm sure, can indicate the exact numbers, but the county's indebtedness is very low compared to what your maximum debt capacity is. But with that being said, we had looked at this as being 0.3 of a cent. Commissioner Gatto said it's 0.25 of a cent. So on a $200,000 home, it would be somewhere between $5 and $6 per year. Now, of course, when you look at anything that is spread out among county residents, it's based on ratables. So, but the assessment is based on that number. So it would be 2.5 to 3, somewhere in that area. Commissioner Kersey asked about our admissions process, and we go through a process with 1,000 applications. We have to look at students who would benefit the most from the programs that we offer, and to put those students where we think they would do very well based on the skills and the aptitude as well as the interest that they have in those programs. So the process is one that is done by a committee here at ACIT, and we also have an appeals process. So if a student is not accepted, the parent has the ability to send an appeal to us. The principal will invite the parent in and the student in to talk about the admissions process. If it is a special education student, since we have a blind admissions process, which is dictated by the New Jersey Department of Education, we are not allowed to know whether a student is special needs or not in the admissions process. A parent then in the appeal process can make the IEP available for us if they wish for us to review the IEP at that time. So we really try hard to match students to programs where they will be successful, and then of course provide this support so that they are successful and they are here. In terms of looking at future costs, with additional students, you're going to have additional costs. We understand that. We have looked at some staffing models. We have not put all of it together because this is a grant application, so that we have not gotten into how much utilities will be, but we're adding 130,000 square feet. But of course, this will be a building that is a modern building. It has the energy conservation construction techniques, as well as we have a large solar array on all of our buildings right now, and I anticipate we will probably do the same with this building as well. But we are looking at probably anywhere about 40 additional professional staff members, and then we would need additional support staff as well. Remember that our funding is composed of 3 components. One is the Atlantic County share, that comes from the taxpayers of Atlantic County. The second is state aid, and the third component is tuition, which is determined after state aid and after the county share. So we are a district that is growing in terms of additional state aid. Last year, our numbers were cut. Like everyone else in the state, we were rolled back to the previous year. But with the demographics in our county and the economic situation that we are facing, we are about 60% free and reduced lunch. We are qualifying for a larger amount of state aid each and every year, so that means our tuition should continue to go down. The last question that was asked about the financing and how that works with what is called an annual tuition adjustment. A little bit confusing, but any of the districts in Atlantic County that have sending-receiving relationships understand this very well. It is the state law. So 2 years after a school year ends, we get a certified tuition rate from the Department of Education that was based on the amount of money that was spent that year. If the amount of money that was spent and the tuition that we charged was less than what we should have charged, we can make up that difference from the sending district. If we charge the sending district more than we should have charged, we owe them money back. So it is a way to adjust 2 years down the road, and it is the state law. Now, we have, in most years, not charged the full amount that we can for the tuition adjustment. We have discounted it to the local sending districts. In fact, the 1 year, 3 years ago, when we first got our state aid, we gave all the state aid back to the sending districts in that year. So we're very conscious about, the impact that we have on the sending districts. And we see our tuition as stabilizing because state aid is starting to get a little bit more reliable. And of course, our costs are, we're looking at our cost stabilizing as well because we have not grown. We had tremendous growth over the years. So we're stabilizing at this point. And, once again, we work to make sure that we can provide the money back to the districts if we can. If we owe them money, I'm sure that the other thing that drives that number too is if the district said, I'm going to send you 100 students and send 150, they have to pay for the extra students that they sent. Or if they send fewer students, then we have to pay them back for that amount as well. So hopefully that answered some of those questions.
Commissioners, do we have any other questions for Mr. Gunther?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yep. Commissioner Bertino?
I have a couple of questions. Dr. Gunther, one, why can't we utilize the existing classroom space in some of the schools as some of the comments we're getting, they're requesting to do these classes?
So that is something that can be done, and it's certainly done to some extent in other counties. And I would certainly welcome the opportunity to sit down with some of my colleagues if they are interested in that. We're actually in the process right now of applying for another grant through the FAA for aviation studies. And as part of that grant, what we are going to do is use money to help all of the high schools in Atlantic County establish aviation programs. So they're either going to join us in a program that we're offering through Embry-Riddle, or they may want to do something else. And we're looking specifically to work with Uniregional on infusing aviation into agriculture. So that is actually what will be written in the grant that we're working on right now. Not this grant, but another grant that we're doing with the FAA.
Okay. I have another question, if I can. For the courses that you have at ACIT, some of that criteria allows the students to take these classes, use them as college credits towards going to college. Are the courses the same that some of the schools offer that are similar at the high school level? Do they have that same criteria, or are you at a different level and a different standard with the training that they're getting?
So I'm sure we have some of the academic classes that are dual enrollment that are offered at other high schools in Atlantic County. What differentiates our programs in some areas is that in the career and technical area, we have articulations where our students get advanced credit for those programs. And for instance, we have a health sciences class that is dual enrollment with Stockton University. Our students in health sciences also get credits through Rutgers University. At Atlantic Cape Community College, our culinary students are eligible for up to 13 credits. Same with our information technology students. So these are programs that are aligned with the career and technical programs that we offer through our school. So there are different ways to do that, but our programs, even our auto and other programs, have articulations with schools for those specific technical programs.
Just one more question, then I'm done, if I can. Our county superintendent of education is a member on the board of ACIT, is he not?
Yes, he is.
And all the times he's sitting at the meetings, has he ever come to you about some of the county public schools being utilized in the manner that some of these people are discussing with us as a suggestion point to say, hey, I got some space available in a couple of districts. We should look at this or that. Has he ever mentioned that to you?
Well, I don't know if he is aware of all the spaces that are available, but, you know, I think we can certainly have a conversation with districts about how that works. And the most important part about how that works, Commissioner, is that, you know, it's a partnership with the local district. And normally what happens is the CTE, the career and technical piece, because that's what we do, we actually provide either the expertise or the staff member to do that program. But you have to have a cooperative, collegial relationship because it is a partnership that has to work jointly to make this thing a success.
Obviously, I think with him contacting and having discussions with county superintendents and all the districts, I would think he would bring that feedback back to you. So you guys are aware where there's some places where you can have some continuity working up with each other. That would be beneficial, obviously, for the taxpaying public and for education.
Right. I have to tell you that the part of the aviation initiative that we've worked on together was one that the executive county superintendent provided information for all of the county schools, middle schools and high schools, working with the Atlantic County Economic Alliance and the partnership with Embry-Riddle. So we have met on some of those issues, and I think the schools in the county understand the economic development strategy that you, the Board of Commissioners, and the county executive put together. And I think we're all working toward
Is that all, Commissioner?
Madam Chair?
Okay. Commissioner Corsi.
I have a question. Did Dr. Gunther, I don't want to misquote him, did Dr. Gunther say if they do not get approved, they will continue to move forward without the grant?
No, I did not say that.
Okay.
You know what? The difference between the county school districts and a regular operating district is that we are a type 1 district, so we have no bonding capacity, meaning that as you know, local school districts can do their own bonding. We do not. Atlantic County does our bonding for us, so we cannot move forward with anything of that size without the support of the freeholder board and the Board of School Estimates, as you know, which is made up of the county executive and freeholders and Board of Education members. So if we don't get the grant, we will not be able to accommodate the number of students that we want to in Atlantic County. We won't be able to start the aviation maintenance program. At some point, we may find another way to do some of that, but at this time, as I said earlier, this is really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity with that money being earmarked and this program being available only to county vocational schools for a 75% grant.
So, Mr. Gunther, Madam Chair, to Mr. Gunther, Dr. Gunther, so you raise a good point, because Atlantic County, you let the county executive tell you that we are such, our bond capacity is off the chain. We even had to bond Stockton College because we were in a position to do so, which is a good thing. But, you know, the interesting part about it, I don't think most of the public understands, and if they do, they don't want to. This is a county high school. And like you said, if Atlantic City decided they wanted to build a new school, they would go to the voters and ask them to pass a referendum. But the county of Atlantic has such a great bonding capacity. We are in a position that we could do that, especially when we look back over every year for the last couple of years, and I've been on the board a minute now. We always seem to have an outstanding surplus. I think last year was either 18 and $19 million. We took half of that, put it towards the 2021 budget. And the other thing to that is that not only do we have a good bonding capacity, I think you just hit the nail on the head. No other entity in Atlantic County can apply for this money, especially not public schools. And it is strictly for vocational schools. People say we took away the plumbing, the electrical, the engineering, the welding, and that's far from the truth. Those programs are still offered at ACIT, and I think people just giving up misinformation about it. Let me just say this in my final remarks on this issue, is that for those who called, and I know we're going to hear from a lot of them, in the district in which I represent, even though I'm a county commissioner for the entire county, not one call came from any of my constituents objecting to this. Not one. Whether it was Egg Harbor Township, the district I represent, Atlantic City or Pleasantville, not one call to object to this resolution and the expansion of ACIT. And so let's move forward. If we can, we're gonna get a lot of comments from the public, but I am prepared to vote, and my vote's going to be yes. Whether we stay here now, it's 5:45, or we stay to midnight. The vote's going to be the same.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other commissioner comments, questions before we go to the public? Okay, seeing none. We're open to public.
Yes, Chairwoman, we are going to raise Aaron Chiappini from an attendee to a panelist. And while that's being done, I would just ask Mr. Reyna to indicate yes if he wants to speak as well. He sent a question which has been answered, and I don't know if he still wants to speak. Aaron, you are raised to a panelist and you may speak now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I have a statement I'll read. So good evening. My name is Erin Chiappini. I'm a resident of Collingswood, but I work as an educator in Atlantic County. I am speaking to you today to respectfully request you vote no on the proposed expansion of ACIT. In 2018, a similar proposal was rejected by over 55% of the voters at the ballot box. This loss by over 10 percentage points would, if discussed by political pundits, be declared a landslide defeat. What has changed since that referendum? The number of high school students in the county has not increased. It has decreased. The economic climate is not better, especially now that the county's hardships have been exacerbated by a raging global pandemic. I have spoken to many residents of Atlantic County who stated to me that requesting the rejection of this proposal is futile, that this body is in the pocket of those with political mojo, and that cronyism is rampant in South Jersey. I'm confident, however, that this group will do the right thing and vote with its constituents, and not to satisfy the whims of a small group with a pet project and political influence. And that is the conclusion of my comment.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Do we have any other comments from the public? And I am going to ask that we don't repeat any of the comments that other people are making, just to keep, so everybody has time to, make their own statements.
We're going to raise Janice Betts after we return Ms. Chiappini to a attendee.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm Dr. Janice Lake Betts, and I am coming to you to request a vote of yes on this resolution referendum. I'm a member of the ACIT Advisory Board and have been involved with ACIT for a number of years. I am a doctor. My doctorate's in literacy and language arts from University of Pennsylvania, but I have taught at ACC years ago and the College of New Jersey and University of Pennsylvania in education. My granddaughter, Felicia Betts, attended ACIT a few years ago. She was the first graduate in the Performing Arts program, and she went on to attend Westminster Choir College with scholarships with a 4.0 average, and she's now living in Boston with an application into the Boston Conservatory of Music, and she's working in the Vocal Arts Academy in Boston and teaching privately. I come to you as an owner of a family-owned business in South Jersey in Hamilton, Tuckahoe Turf Farms. And as a business owner, we're faced with many challenges. In our business, we have solid athletic fields all over the Northeast region, from the Eagles to the Steelers to the Packers. And one thing that we face is the hiring of mechanics, hiring people who are trained in diesel mechanics, and just mechanics in general, in landscaping, in HVAC. And I'm also very interested in aviation maintenance because I'm a pilot myself. I have a Cessna, and there's just not opportunities for young people to get trained in the aviation industry. And I support the expansion because I see opportunities for us to partner with the community college as well as Embry-Riddle and these other schools that Dr. Gunther has talked about. And I feel that, this is an opportunity that cannot be missed. If we really believe in equity and equality for all, especially in Atlantic County, I think you need to vote yes on this expansion. And I appreciate your time, Madam Chair and Commissioners.
Thank you, Ms. Betts. Do we have any other comments from the public?
Yes, we do, Chairwoman. We're going to raise Stephen Stokes to a panelist, followed by James Reyna. I said one thing and doing another, but first it'll be Stephen Stokes, will be followed by James Reyna, who will be raised.
Okay, Mr. Stokes, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so I'm an Atlantic County resident, and I also am a member of the ACIT Advisory Board. I'm also a union representative for the Carpenters Union, and I see every day what Dr. Gunther and what ACIT are doing in preparing the workforce. Bringing some of these projects and some of these programs to ACIT is really going to help a lot of people may not have the opportunity to go into college. Not only that, it's going to create jobs for the county in the short term and the long term, especially in some of the fields that Dr. Gunther had mentioned. So I would please ask all the board members to vote yes on this very important issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Madam Chair, Mr. Reyna.
Mr. Reyna will be next, followed by Christine Wozniak.
Okay. Hey, Mr. Reyna, are you with us?
One moment.
Okay.
Okay.
Good evening. You should be able to hear me now, correct?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. First and foremost, I do want to thank the board for their time and their work. I sent a letter to Chairwoman Kern on Friday with a series of questions, and in that letter, I also did include to her that I did appreciate the amount of work and time that you all put into the county, as both somebody who works in the county and lives in the county. Some of the questions I sent on Friday have been answered tonight. Others have not. Maybe they will be answered in the future, Chairwoman Kern. But as the superintendent of Greater Egg Harbor Regional, I feel there's an obligation to share some additional information. Just in our district alone, we have engineering, we have biomedical, we have computer science, we have homeland security. The last gentleman spoke about the trades. At Oak Crest and Absegami, you can enroll in a woodshop program with the union out of Hamilton and actually save 1 year off your apprenticeship. I mean, let that sink in terms of the value. So there are programs available, and maybe we need to do a better job of educating you of what is available in all of the other county high schools, because I don't think anybody at our level, from our perspective, is concerned about vocational programs or additions. Where our concern lies is in duplications of programs that exist in the other public high schools. And there will be a significant impact by the viability study. And I'm not saying anything I haven't shared with Dr. Gunther before. Greater Egg is looking at up to a $1 million increase per year in tuition based on their statistics. That's going to cost my kids. That's going to cost our districts. We're going to have to look at cutting programs. We're going to have to look at cutting staff and jobs. So that is the other side of this equation. And it's not about ACIT as an institution. It's not about, Dr. Gunther, who I have worked with going back to my days when I was a vice principal 15 years ago, who I respect. I'm sorry?
Why is a good boy though? It's a good doggy.
Well, as somebody who has 3 dogs, I get it. Although I'm still at work, so you all know, as a taxpayer, I'm still at work. But part of that concern is that other side. $1 million coming out of 3 of this county's high schools is going to impact what services we can provide to our constituents. And that's the flip side of it, is 3 neighborhood high schools are going to be negatively impacted in terms of what they can offer. And when there are empty seats in these buildings, and I appreciate the commissioner that brought that up, as a possibility, that is a way that it is done in other counties. When there are empty seats in existing high schools in this county, that is a tremendous frustration to us on this side. So when we look at this expense and the fact that if I wanted to do any addition, as Phil pointed out, and Phil gave a great definition, I'd have to go out for a bond. If I wanted to do an addition, I got to go out for a bond. I want to update my security, I got to go out for a bond. Once it gets to something larger than we can control in our annual budget. Turf fields, we put them out for a bond a few years ago. They got shot down. I get it. In this county, no problem with them being shot down. That's the concern from the other side of the equation. Is I understand this is a 75% grant from the state and the county bonding the other 25%. But if you're talking about us getting better, as the commissioner said earlier, at offering programs to students, I can't utilize the same system. And that's our frustration. And when I look in the mirror I look forward rather, and I think about an additional $1 million going out of this district moving forward, that's a staggering number. To lose another 130 to 35 students by ACIT's own numbers is gonna cost jobs, is gonna cost programs. And that's why Greater Egg is so concerned about this. It's not about the program. It's not about the people. And for any of you who received phone calls, you know what? I hope they were none of our people. If they were, you have my sincere personal and professional apology, because that's not what this is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about this forum. And with that, I say thank you for the time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reno. We'll try to make sure all your questions are answered as well. Okay, do we have anybody else from the public?
Yes, Chairwoman. Ms. Wozniak did not want to speak, but she did ask if ACIT gets the grant, will they charge the sending districts less?
Mr. Gunther. I think you're still here, right?
Yes, so the grant is for the facility, not for the operation. However, equipment can be placed in this grant. So and that's what we are planning to do. So as state aid increases for us, last year we lost $1.2 million in state aid. So if we get the amount of state aid that we were supposed to get last year, and that continues into the future, tuition will continue to go down. I don't know if everyone's aware of what the tuition is to ACIT, but it's $6,100 for a regular education student and $7,500 for a special education student. So we certainly hope it goes down. Can't guarantee that, but we'll do everything we can to keep it down as much as possible.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gunther. Do we have any other comments?
Yes, Mr. Creed Pogue, we're going to raise him to panelist, and as he's being raised, Dennis Huber will follow.
Thank you. Mr. Pogue, when you're on, there you are, Mr. Pogue.
Yes, question for Dr. Gunther. First, as far as just the logistics of the application process, because there's in essence, it would appear 2 tiers. One is the 40 million that we're all talking about, and then there's the smaller amounts that'll go to more counties. Is all of that going in at the same time to be awarded at the same time, or will the larger grants go first and then some later round for the smaller ones?
So my understanding is all of the grant applications have to be in by March 1st. I'm assuming they're going to take the amount of money that they have available. They have said they're making 4 grants on a regional basis. So there will be one in South Jersey, one in North, and one in Central. And so those grants will be part of the whole mix. So I would assume that they'll do it all at one time. They'll do the large and then the smaller ones. I guess the question is what happens if money is left over? I'm not sure how long they would keep that open. That's a good question. We don't know that at this time, but we are working on that March 1st deadline for all the grant applications.
Phil, I appreciate the question. I appreciate the credit for a good question, but that wasn't actually my thought. My concerns more along the lines of, in the 7 counties, obviously there's 3 that are definitely much larger than we are. And so since this is a competitive process, I was just trying to see if there was any way to have, a fallback, because while we're arguing about the overall effects across schools and everything else, it would be a shame to wind up with 0. And I didn't know if there was a fallback to work with on that.
Yeah, that's a good question. What I do know is we can't put in 2 applications. Like we couldn't put in a $40 million application and $25 million, like a backup application.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Poe, do you have anything else?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're raising up Dennis Huber in a moment.
Hey, Mr. Huber.
Okay. My name is Dennis Huber. I work for a company called the Endel Corporation. We are a heavy-duty diesel repair facility that has a family of companies that encompasses 7 states, and we have about 125 technicians that work every day in the heavy-duty diesel market. I'm also an advisory board member, but most importantly, my company has a location in Egg Harbor Township, and the company is called Johnson & Towers. Being a technical trainer for the company for over 20 years, I can tell you that the need for diesel technicians and people who have the skills that are going to be taught at ACIT if they get a diesel program is profoundly important to the industry. The single most difficult struggle that my industry has is finding qualified technicians. And, if it isn't for programs like ACIT and what they plan to do with diesel, their aviation, and other programs they have in mind, there's not going to be people out there to fix this stuff. Technology moves along and faster every day. The diesel market is constantly evolving as emission regulations change and government standards need to be met. And the marketplace just isn't prepared to be able to have a pipeline of qualified technicians to be able to meet the demand. And like I said, I think outside of the industry, nobody realizes how much of a gap there is. And, like I said, I am on ACIT's advisory board. I've dealt with the school, and I think that it would benefit the county greatly to be able to have programs where kids that may possess mechanical aptitude but yet may not want to go to college will find their path to success in an industry that desperately needs it. If it isn't for programs like ACIT, these kids have nowhere to go and their talents could be wasted, which is a terrible thing. So I'm encouraging all of you to vote yes for this. I think it's something that'll benefit the county. And I think it's something that'll benefit the community and the industry to be able to provide a place for kids that may not want to go to college, but have that most important skill set of mechanical aptitude to be able to apply themselves. Thank you.
Chairwoman, you're muted.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have anybody else from the public?
Yes, next we'll have Patricia Daly, followed by Peggy Capone.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Lance Landgraf first, followed by Patricia Daly.
Okay. Oh, Ms. Lansgraf, I think I see you on. You just need to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. My name is Lance Landgraf. I also am a member of the Academy of Math, Engineering, and Science Advisory Board for ACIT. And as many of you know, I'm also a commissioner in the city of Ventnor. Myself, and I have had a chance to speak to our Mayor Beth Holtzman and Commissioner Tim Kriebel. We all support this resolution and the expansion and grant application out at ACIT. The opportunity that this can create, and already has created, the opportunity ACIT has created now has put kids into colleges, into the trades, into the health services careers, much more than people I think realize. I see it on almost a daily basis with kids looking for careers, looking for things to do, and the training that they can get at ACIT in that format and in that campus, on that campus, is just, it's not matchable. You can't match it in the county. And I think other counties too, you know, having been involved with the advisory board for probably 20 years now. It's been an interesting challenge to see that change and to see the effort that the staff, Dr. Gunther and all of his staff have put forth to make this an environment for these kids to learn and get into the trades and get into colleges has been an amazing one to watch. We need more opportunities for our kids coming out of Ventnor. What we have right now is either you go into a private school or you go into Atlantic City, or if you can get in the lottery, you can maybe get into mainland or Ocean City High School. You know, we need more opportunities for our kids here. Dr. Gunther mentioned the tuition costs for a student ranging in the $600 to $7,500 range. We pay a fee to Atlantic City of $20,000 a student. If I can get more children into the programs at ACIT coming out of Ventnor, that will save my residents in this county. You know, to talk about how it affects each individual community, that's where I'm coming from. I'm looking at it for our students to be able to get it high education, whether it's for AP courses for college, whether it's for vocational training, and you know, talking to some of the trades people that I deal with on a daily basis, there's a real demand for electricians, diesel mechanics, aviation mechanics is something that's been mentioned. The opportunities there that was talked about in the county's master plan to create this environment for out at the airport for maintenance facility there. That's a huge boom to our region. You know, that airport can handle a lot more development than is out there right now. And I really think that partnering with Embry-Riddle, and getting that aviation education is critical to our area moving beyond the hospitality industry. So with that, you know, we fully support that here in Ventnor, that this school be able to expand. to add that, almost double its capacity. It meets the future economic needs as for our region, as was talked about in the Angelo Economics report. Whether or not these kids are college bound or vocationally or trade bound, ACIT can provide that opportunity. And I really think this is something that needs to happen. As Dr. Gunther indicated, this is a once in a career opportunity to have this grant available for that much money coming from them and not us, not us as the county residents. The amount of money that's being put out, yes, it's a lot of money, but that really can be offset by the grant, and we fully support it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Landgraf. Is it Ms. Capone we're looking at for right now?
Pardon me?
Is it Peggy Capone we're looking?
No, we're Patricia Daly, followed by Peggy Capone.
Okay.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Patricia, we're here.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. This is my first meeting. So it's been a joy watching you guys get everything together. I have been a resident of Atlantic County since 2001, Mays Landing Brigantine now. I am also a special education teacher in the Greater Egg Harbor District. And I've made a few observations tonight. One, I was looking at resolution number 48, and in the document, ACIT is referred to as the Vocational Technical School. And ACIT, from my recollection, hasn't been referred to as VOTEC since around 2010, 2011, perhaps. And it was around that time that ACIT stopped taking half-day students. And that was a great dismay to me as a special education teacher. Many of my students greatly benefited from coming to their home school for a half day and then going to ACIT or VOTEC at the time for the technical training. And we're talking about this grant as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for our county, but for each and every special education student to have that half-day opportunity is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity per special education student. We talk about duplicating programs. Why do we need to duplicate programs that are in some high schools? Why can ACIT not come back and offer the half-day program? Offer the technical programs, and also let the kids go with their friends to their home schools. We talk about cooperative and collegial relationships. This is how we build them. And so for this referendum, if we're talking about money to build more building, I request you vote no. And yes to building the cooperative and collegial relationships. Let the kids go to school with everyone. Why do they need to be segregated? Are we a county indivisible? Are we together? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Daly. And at the end, Ms. Daly, just so you know, we are going to ask Mr. Gunther if there's any questions or statements out there that he'd like to, answer. We'll do that after we get through some of the comments, if that's okay. Ms. Capone?
We'll hear from Peggy Capone, followed by Roy Foster.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can, Peggy.
Okay, great. Thank you for having this, allowing me to speak. I'm grateful to Mr. Bertino, who brought up that the vote, it was rejected in 2018. I haven't heard, there's been a little bit of incomplete narrative, okay? For at least 5 years, ACIT has been duplicating Greater Egg Harbor Regional's programs, math, science, language arts. They've been duplicating them. there has been a tuition adjustment for the past 5 years between 20 and 45%. Not sure if everyone knows that. So while we're in our school budget are capped at 2%, ACIT there's a loophole in that, which allows them to go outside that 2% to come back at tuition adjustment to the sending districts. So I want all the commissioners to know that. Not sure if you know. Also, the grant money is not free. We had a grant to build Cedar Creek. And Cedar Creek, we are paying 15%, and it has nothing to do with bond rating. It has to do with the SDA tax. So I'm not sure who hasn't informed the commissioners of that SDA tax. Our budget alone gets hit $620,000 every year from our budget for the tax on that grant for Cedar Creek. So I don't think that's included in the 0.25. In fact, I'm positive it probably will get looped into the tuition costs. So I wanted you to know about that. We have met, our board has met with Mr. Gunther and tried to discuss the sharing of programs, and we have been ignored. Our previous superintendent met multiple times, has, I believe, brought it to all the commissioners' attention about the unfair taxing that our board has to encompass. So when you have, in Atlantic County, when you have empty chairs, there's no reason to grow, make another school bigger. The trades, I agree with expanding the trades. It's unfortunate that Mr. Gunther did not do that in the past 5 years. What he did was duplicate our programs. So I'm hoping that you will make ACIT do what every school board has to do within their budget. So while the state might say that we'll give you 75%, that's not free money. I'm just going to repeat that again. It probably will be taxed. And I think that's very important information that you need to know. So I thank you. The commissioners will not ignore what the voters, they voted no on this expansion 2 years ago. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for being here, Mr. Capone. I'm sorry.
Chairwoman, we'll raise Roy Foster, followed by T. Grossi or Grossi.
Okay. Mr. Fossey? Mr.
Okay,
Foster.
okay.
Mr. Foster. We can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, again, my name is Roy Foster. I live in Mays Landing, New Jersey. I currently sit on the Board of Ed of ACIT, and I'm also the chairman of Atlantic County Improvement Authority. And the gentleman that spoke about the diesel mechanics in particular, a couple ago, I think Mr. Gruber was his name. I think he nailed it right on the head. We are trying to, as you know, we built the aviation park out there by the FAA, and we hear the same thing over and over again, trying to get businesses come out here. You don't have the skilled technicians, you don't have the infrastructure to train these people, and et cetera, et cetera. And this grant money that we applied for, and we want to apply for with the ACIT, is really, it's only for the kids that aren't going to college. And these parents have decided that their children aren't going to college. We can open up a total of, after 4 years, of 400 and some kids that will have a chance for a career, as opposed to just filling seats because they're needed at another board. I understand that does cost money, but that's what we're supposed to do. There's a need for these kids.
Our job is to try to train these kids. The parents want to send them there. And I hate to see them left in another system just because somebody needs them to fill the chairs. Listen, we've been involved in a lot of bonds throughout the county. Every school, including Egg Harbor, gets up and says we got to take advantage of the state aid. When we passed for Oakcrest High School, the residents of Galloway voted no, Egg Harbor voted no, Mullica voted no. Yet they still did the addition. I'll just leave it at that. But I know it's a tough decision, but this is a chance for parents to get their kids into a career as opposed to just sitting there. If they're not going to go to college, our job is to train them, and that's what we're here for. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
We have T. Grossi or Grossi next, followed by Pam Schaefer. We'll be raising, okay. T. Grossi or Grossi, you may speak now. Hello.
Mr. Grossi, you can speak now.
T. Grossi actually typed in the question is, just in case he's having a problem with audio, is $13,500,000 the maximum the county will be responsible for?
Well, Madam Chair, if I may, I think that the 13.5 is what we were asked to commit to, agreeing to as ACIT makes this application, because that's what the match would be. I think if it's anything, if anything happens to go above that, then I think it would have to come back to us for discussion. But Budget Committee discussed was the ask for the 13.5, which is the 25% match required by the grant to be able to apply.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And so now we will raise Pam Schaefer to a panelist. I'm
looking, I don't.
Okay, we're having a little difficulty raising Ms. Schaefer. She's asking me, how does she turn her mic on? Unfortunately, we're having difficulty raising Ms. Schaefer. Perhaps in our attempts to raise her, she can type her question if it's short, but we're unable to raise her for some reason. Just give us a couple more moments. Okay. Ms. Schaefer, if you can hear me, could you just quickly type in your question, because we are unable to raise you from an attendee, from a panelist, for one reason or another.
Admission process. Maybe now, now.
Yeah.
Is that Ms. Schaefer?
Ms. Schaefer, we can hear you.
Mays Landing for more than 30 years. And before that, Absecon. So I grew up in the county. And my question is about the admissions process. What really struck a chord tonight was when someone, I think it was Dr. Betts, said something about equality for all. And that really hit home with me, because what I would like to see is equality for all. And I am wondering how many students are admitted to the school that have perhaps had no luck in life, that have grown up in households where books were not read, or they had less of a chance because they were not able to attend school. Maybe they had to babysit for their brother or sister, or something happened and their attendance got messed up, but they have an aptitude to learn a trade. I would love to see everyone that would like to learn a trade go out there and work in the county for all the businesses that need tradespeople. That would be amazing if they could all get seats and find a spot at ACIT. What I see is a 71% of the class that's graduating going on to college. That tells me that 29% are going out to work or to do something different, but 29% is not a very large percentage of students going into trades. Perhaps they are going out to a four-year college and then going to be, a welder or a carpenter. But to me, you don't usually do that. If you want to go into a trade, you go into a trade. And I always thought that Votech was a great place to learn a trade. But I question how many students who have perhaps less than an AB average, how many do you accept that were C range or had a problem with attendance and were able, and how do they even get to take an aptitude test? Like you said, you put them in the right place where they could be successful. But if they were not successful with their attendance at Davies School or their other middle school, do they even get a chance to apply, or are they cut off? And my second thing was just piggybacking on what everybody else has said tonight. To me, it seems like there should be a reconfiguration where college prep programs are moved back to the home schools and ACIT goes back to being Votech and has all these wonderful programs for students to be trained in trades. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Schaefer.
Chairwoman, that was the last comment we had for the public portion.
Okay, so I am going to close the public portion and bring Mr. Gunther back to answer some of the questions that were put forth.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. So there were a number of questions asked. One was about shared time programs. Shared time programs were phased out because they had major issues. One was the student was bused to their home school, stayed perhaps in school for a certain amount of time, then was bused over to the vocational school at the time, stayed with us for a certain amount of time, was either bused home or bused back to their home school. They spent a lot of the day on the bus. And that may have worked in 1974 when we didn't have all the development and the traffic and everything that went on out here, but it was increasingly more difficult for students to make those trips in the middle of the day to come to the school. The other thing that changed dramatically since the 70s has been the graduation requirements and the advent of standardized testing as part of the graduation requirements. We had students who would come, take part of a program, but were then pulled back by the home school because they couldn't pass the graduation test in their area, so they never got to finish their program. In fact, there may be applications for this grant from other counties that are taking some of the very, very few remaining shared time programs in the state of New Jersey, and there aren't many. And they're trying to transition them using the grant funds into full-time comprehensive high schools. The other problem with the shared time programs, and I was here, we had students who didn't feel connected to either school because they were back and forth between schools. In terms of duplicating programs, and I've gone over this for the superintendents, most of our programs, not all of them, but most of them date back to 1974 in some form. There are programs throughout the county that have been started, but in all cases that I'm aware of, we had the programs first, and our programs are different. And I want to just take a quick moment to explain why. Our programs are taught by industry professionals. We have an engineer who teaches engineering. She is a civil engineer. Along with her, we have an architect who teaches in that program. Our CAD program is taught by a landscape architect. So we have people who have worked in the field teaching those classes. The same with IT. We have programmers who have come from industry. We have a different program, and our programs are 4 years, 80 minutes a day for 4 years. It's a double period in most high schools. And the students have a deeper, more immersive program. In terms of a tuition adjustment, I think I covered that, but that is covered by state law of how that is done, and the districts are very much aware of that. In fact, Greater Egg Harbor Regional has a sending-receiving relationship with Port Republic. I'm sure they do tuition adjustments with them so they understand how that is done. In terms of the SDA tax, there should not be anything like that on the Bond Act funds. We have not heard any of that discussed, and it has never been brought up on any of the question and answer sessions that we've been involved in, so we don't think that applies. With the $13.5 million county share, and Commissioner Gatto is correct, that is the amount we are asking for. That is the county share, and we can't spend $1 more of the county's money without asking the county. So that she's absolutely correct on that. The other issue is about the 71%. I'm not sure that number may have come from a performance report, but students make applications to colleges as part of the process. And what I think is maybe a misunderstanding, there seems to be a 20th century understanding of what vocational or career and technical schools, as we call them today, are all about. They are not just for kids who are going directly into the trades. I'll give you an example. We have students in cosmetology who will finish their program, and they may, while they're going to college, maybe the community college, may be working in a salon at the same time they're taking a business class at the community college. We have students in health sciences who are EMTs when they leave us, and they may continue their education. In fact, I've seen them in the hospital and working in doctors' offices all over Atlantic County and going on to further their college at the same time. We have students who are in certain programs like general health sciences and information technology and engineering, math, and science. What we do is we hope that they focus on that career path if they go to the secondary level. We have graduates from our engineering program who went through our program, did an internship at the FAA Technical Center, went away to school, got their engineering degree, and are now back working at the FAA Tech Center full time. That's a huge success for our students to be able to do that. So it is not your 20th century vocational school in Atlantic County, and quite frankly, it's not that way anywhere else in the state right now. We have to make these career options available for all students, regardless of where they come from, where they live, and what their interest is. We have programs that address all students of all ability levels, and certainly have the success record. And I have to say, the work that's done by our faculty here is the reason why we're able to achieve the success that we do. We're very proud of some of the things that we do, including our graduation rate, which hovers around 99%.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gunther. Greatly appreciate you being here and with your time.
Chairwoman, I'm sorry, we have one more speaker from the public, Lauren Moore. Give us the opportunity to raise him to a panelist.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I heard a lot of great comments tonight. Lauren Moore, President of the Atlantic County Economic Alliance. We're the entity that does regional countywide economic development here in Atlantic County. You know, first I want to say it was great to hear several speakers, you know, recognize and talk about our economic development strategy and the progress that we've made trying to diversify our economy with our aviation cluster and our aviation district, working with our partners at SJTA, the airport, and the FAA, and to bring an aviation cluster to Atlantic County. You know, it's no secret, you know, we're the hardest hit county in the country. Brookings Institute, Rutgers, and others, this is well documented. It's time to diversify, you know, our economy so that we can weather these types of storms like the pandemic. And a part of doing that, this proposal, and you know, my comments are in support of 47 Atlantic Cape Community College, Dr. Gobb's project, as well as ACIT's. You know, one of the firm pillars, and my comments are from an economic development point of view, you know, here. And you know, these proposals support several pillars in our economic development strategy. And it's namely workforce development. You know, we heard Roy Foster, Lance Landgraf, and others, you know, talk about the need to educate our workforce. We hear this time and time and time again, that, you know, businesses, as we work to attract these industries to Atlantic County, that, you know, they follow the workforce. So the STEM initiatives that we're working on with Atlantic Cape and all the other school districts as well, these are very important to helping us diversify our economy and attract these industries, you know, to New Jersey. So I'm going to keep my comments short, you know, coming here to the end, that these proposals support several tenets and pillars of our economic development strategy, and we support the proposals. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Thank you, Mr. Bertino. We're back to the commissioners. If anybody has any final comments before we take the vote?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
just for the record, we certainly have beat it to death. I was trying to keep a track of the callers who called logged in for the pros and the cons, and out of the 13 people who spoke, I think 7 or 8 was in support of this resolution. I'm sure there's others out there who certainly support, who just choose not to speak up. But I think it's fair to say that we all have gotten information on both sides of this issue, pro or con. And certainly I think those who did take the time out to voice their concerns and their support or objection to it. The other issue is that I had for Dr. Gunther, that just for my clarification, all the Votechno schools in New Jersey are entitled to apply for this grant. So you keep disappearing.
Yes.
I need you to stay on screen so I can see you until you're done. You keep going off.
Sorry about that, Commissioner. All the vocational technical districts in New Jersey, there are 21, are eligible to apply for this grant.
And do you know, Dr. Gunther, how many is it available to? I know it's 21, but is it 5? Is it 6? Is it 10?
There will be 4 large grants, and then there will be, there are 2 different groups. There will be small grants, so they're putting them in different pots of money. But the large grants, like we're applying for, there are 4. There may, depending on how it's spent too, there possibly could be a 5th. They were talking about that at one point if there's extra money. So we'll see how that works out.
Dr. Gunther, I don't want to put words. Do you believe that all of the technical schools throughout the state of New Jersey will get some type of funding, might not be as large as others?
I don't know if all of them are applying. They're at different stages in their development. For instance, Hudson just built a huge school, finished about 2 years ago. I don't know what their need might be right now. Cumberland has, as you know, is just, so everybody's facility is at a different phase, you know, for this program to work for them. It has to fit into where they are.
And so, Mr. Gunther, Director, Dr. Gunther, let me, two more comments, really, not more questions, two comments. One may be a question. So would it be fair to say that the success rate at Atlantic ACIT has been overwhelming, and that I am told that of your students have come back in varying capacity, whether it's volunteering or even the opportunity for employment. But would it be fair to say that your graduating rate is outstanding?
Yes, and as we move about the county, our students are everywhere. If you're in a doctor's office in Atlantic County, probably one of the people there is a medical assisting student at ACIT at some point, and it goes throughout the industries. The carpenters, the electricians are great partners, as are all the trade unions. Our students are there. We did a project about 2 years ago, and the students, the workers on that job, many of them graduated from our program. So they were working in the trade unions, whether it's the floor layers for the carpenters or the plumbers or the electricians. They were our graduates who were here, and it's great to see.
Dr. Gunther, two more. One is, can you give me the numbers? If you don't have them today, it's fine, but please give them to me. I am curious to find out, for my own edification, how many students from Atlantic City and how many students from Pleasantville. And the reason I raise that question is that, again, I can stand here tonight and tell you I have not received one call against this project in the district in which I represent. That speaks volumes to the quality of service that ACIT provides to the students. And also, again, it gives other students the opportunity who feel they would not make it in a public high school for one reason or another. But I would certainly remind all my colleagues that we certainly take seriously into consideration the other comments that was for, and certainly those who were against. And I'm sure going down the road, we'll come back to see this issue again. This is not the last time we probably will be talking about ACIT in terms of funding, et cetera. But Dr. Gunther, let me just say that I wish you well. I look forward to supporting this resolution, and I do believe it's the right thing to do for the students in here in our great county of Atlantic.
Thank you, and I do have those numbers.
Okay, I'll take them.
Okay, Atlantic City, we have 281 students from Atlantic City and 227 from Pleasantville.
Thank you, Dr.
And Madam Chair, one more question. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Gunther. Can you just tell me what's your waiting list like, if in fact there is a waiting list?
Well, the admissions process just started. So the committee is going through that, and it's a rolling process. So they start to send out acceptance letters at this time. They just started last week. So those letters have just gone out to some students, but they didn't get through all of them. The 1,000 applications takes a long time to go through, to read all the supporting documentation and to, as I said, try and make sure the student is placed in an area where they will be successful and it's something that they have interest in.
So I guess my question, maybe I should ask that a different way. What was your list last year? How long was the waiting list? Or strike that, how many people applied last year that was not able to get in, give or take?
So probably about 450 students we were not able to accommodate. We always accept a little bit more than actually probably a little higher than that. Yeah, probably about over 500. But we always accept a little bit more because some students, there are several options. They may apply to us. They may decide to stay at their home district. They may go on to private school. But we had over 500 students last year that we were not able to accommodate.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I reserve the balance of my time.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Okay, I am going to thank the Budget and the Education Committee for their reports and taking the time to set these meetings up to review this. I'm going to ask for a roll call.
Ballas?
Madam Chair, whoa. Before the roll call, are you indicating to me that there's no comments from the administration? I'm a little taken back then.
Would you like that?
Pushing it. There's no comment from the administration?
Is there any comments from administration?
We presented to the budget committee, we presented to the education committee, you've got all our comments.
So Jerry, would it be fair to say the only people that took the beating, and we're prepared to, is it fair to say the only people that took the beating on this was the commissioners? Because apparently the administration was okay. They didn't get the calls we got.
The county executive gets the calls all the time. As a matter of fact, I think you mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, you dislike the county executive. This is now at this level.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. If it's okay with Commissioner Corsi, I'm going to take a roll call.
Madam Chair,
I'll change my mind.
Before the roll call, can we make a comment?
Yes, please. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. That's why I didn't want to comment before the comments from the public, so we can address some of the issues. First of all, I just want to say that I think it's so appropriate to have the title of the grant, Securing Our Children's Future. And that's something that we should be thinking about as we're making our decision here and making this vote, securing our children's future. I think that any high school that would have had the opportunity here in Atlantic County to apply for this money would absolutely move forward and try to apply for it. I think when we hear Dr. Gunther talk about having to turn away at least 500 students per year, and we say no, that we don't want to expand and have children go to a high school of their choice instead of being forced to go to a high school that they don't really want to go to. That's why they're applying to ACIT. You know, one of the comments we heard from someone was that this was voted down, an expansion of ACIT was voted down in 2018. That's not correct. Also, one of the questions was to the fact of students that aren't really great students in grade school when they're applying, for their high school, whether they're, not AB students, didn't have the greatest attendance record or so forth and so on. I know of at least two that are right in my community, one that has already graduated from ACIT that probably would have not made it through Egg Harbor Township High School and is now working in the trade, in a non-union trade, and one who's still in ACIT at this point. So, and I'm sure there's many other stories that could be shared of other students from other communities that weren't the best of students and made it in ACIT and had a great experience and now are working in the trades. And if we can expand that in any way, shape, or form, that's what we need to do. So again, I think tonight a yes vote is definitely a vote for securing our children's future. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there any other comments before we go to a vote?
Yeah, one last comment, Madam Chair.
Okay,
Dr. Gunther did say, and he might want to emphasize this point, I believe he said that he is willing to have ongoing talks with school districts in Atlantic County to provide programs that would work in their particular school system. So maybe Dr. Gunther, you want to touch on that briefly again, but I think that's a very important point here. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Dr. Gunther?
Yes, we would look forward to meeting with superintendents. We meet monthly, and actually we'll be meeting again on Thursday. And this is something that could come up with the high school superintendents if there is a program that works for them and something that we can help them facilitate. We would be more than willing to help in that regard. There are plenty of students to go around in Atlantic County to take advantage of these programs, and we would help set up high quality if they had the desire and wanted us to offer expertise in any way. We would certainly do that, like we're doing with the aviation. We're already starting that process.
Okay, thank you again, Dr. Gunther. Okay, any other comments?
Madam Chair.
Okay. Commissioner Gatto?
Yes, thank you. Just wanted to I think Commissioner Ballas kind of touched on it, but just want to clarify the record. I know the question was asked, what's changed since 2018? with that referendum. And what exactly did that referendum do? It was a statewide referendum that asked the question to the state, do you want the state to allocate funds toward an investment in vocational education? So while Atlantic County may have said no at that point, the state said yes. So now the difference is the money is allocated. It's our tax dollars. So the question for us is, do we want to apply for a grant that keeps those tax dollars here and benefits the students here in Atlantic County? Or do we want to let them go and educate students across the state outside of our county? I just wanted to clarify what that referendum is. For me, this is a very tough decision, and I do appreciate all of the comments that we received both tonight, but also in advance of the meeting in writing. I have a conflict between what my heart wants to do as an Oakcrest graduate and what my head says to do. It is the right decision to do. And to me, it's about creating opportunity for our future based on the economic development plan that we have laid out before us. And so I'll be supporting the resolution because of that. But I would hope that, and I don't see Dr. Gaba or our new superintendent, James Reyna, on, I would hope that maybe we could talk about, in addition to the conversations that Phil just committed to having, potentially we talk about a magnet program in Greater Egg for esports and cybersecurity that could partner with ACCC on the grant that they're also applying for. To me, that sounds like a great opportunity to capitalize on, and I'll personally follow up with both of those entities to make that suggestion. But again, to me, this is about creating opportunity at an affordable cost and answering the question of, do we want to apply for grant funding that keeps our tax dollars here educating our students where there's a demand? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, do we have any other comments? Commissioner?
Thank you. I thank you, Commissioner Gatto. You hit the nail on the head. The money's already been allocated, even though in Atlantic County in 2018 it was voted down. And we should keep the money here as much as possible. And it also was a very difficult decision for me, but a lot of people, of course, of the weekend, and got a lot of emails from people in both directions, up and down. But when when it was confirmed to me that this program, this money, specifically for trades and not to further duplicate general studies or college prep studies, that was very meaningful to me and helped me make my decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fitzpatrick. Any other comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll have to take a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Okay, that brings us to Resolution 12.
Funds Exchange Program Cost Reimbursement Agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for fiscal year 17 Transportation Trust Fund funding for the construction costs associated with English Creek Avenue project in Egg Harbor Township, amount not to exceed $329,998.31.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any freeholder? Oh, wow. Commissioner comments? I haven't done that yet. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 13.
Amending Resolution Number 127, adopted March 17, 2020, grant from New Jersey Transit for Senior Citizens and Disabled Residents Transportation Assistance Program, decreased $5, corrected amount $520,799.63.
After extensive conversation about the $5 in the budget meeting, I will make a motion.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Do we have any freeholder comments? Okay, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 14.
Amending Resolution Number 594 adopted December 1, 2020, innovations funding from the New Jersey Juvenile Justice Commission to include subaward number JDAI-21-1F-01.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Hey, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 15.
Amending Resolution Number 348 adopted August 18, 2020, Atlantic County Consortium Fiscal Year 2020 Annual Action Plan for the Community Development Block Grant Program, funded amount $1,891,919, net decrease $317.
So moved.
Motion been made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Hey, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino, Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 16.
First Amendment to the grant agreement between the State of New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, Division of Local Government Services to provide additional funding to support costs associated with COVID-19 testing, specifically expenses incurred between March 1, 2020 and December 30th, 2020, $900,000 additional amount.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comment from the public.
Hey, roll call, please.
Y'all tired.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 17.
Amending Resolution Number 598 adopted December 1, 2020, professional services agreements with various veterinarians and veterinary offices for the provision of veterinarian services, adding Brian Calabro, DVM, to provider list for veterinary services provided on an as-needed basis for the Atlantic County Animal Shelter. No additional cost.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? I see none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Madam Chair, it's been awful quiet over at that shelter.
Yes, it has. Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 18.
Professional services contract with various vendors for perishable food items for Atlantic County, amount not to exceed $1,010,780.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none. Any comments from the public?
No comment from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 19, please.
Professional services contract with ComSite Corporation for the provision of an employee assistance program, amount not to exceed $24,072.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 20, please.
Professional services contracts with various counselors and nurses to provide substance abuse services for the 12-hour and 48-hour Intoxicated Driver Resource Center, amount not to exceed $36,450.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 21, please.
Professional services agreement with various vendors to establish a pool of professional consultants to provide engineering services for dam and transportation infrastructure projects. Amount not to exceed $4,960,000 for all contracts.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments?
Amy,
Yes, sir.
you couldn't get away from that dam, could you?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
My job to keep watching it.
You got a good job.
Any other commissioner comments? Okay, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Damn, yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 22, please.
Renewal competitive contract with CFG Health Systems for the provision of medical, dental, and mental health services to inmates of the Atlantic County Justice Facility, amount not to exceed $5,615,231.28, and Harborfield's Juvenile Detention Center, amount not to exceed $138,730.06. Total contract amount $5,753,961.34.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 23, please.
Competitive contract with Atlantic Prevention Resources for the provision of the juvenile delinquency provision services for gun violence reduction program. Amount not to exceed $65,700.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 24.
Bid contract with Lanceman Uniforms Incorporated to furnish and deliver uniforms for members of the Atlantic County Justice Facility. Amount not to exceed $86,320.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 25, please.
Bid contract with various vendors to furnish and deliver inmate uniforms and supplies to the Atlantic County Justice Facility. amount not to exceed $158,408.40.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Rutino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 26, please.
Bid contract with Kelly Winthrop Limited Liability Corporation to provide deer carcass removal and disposal to members of the Atlantic County Cooperative. Amount not to exceed $40,800.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair,
Yes, please.
for you to Jerry, I noticed that this company is out of Florida. I would assume that they have a local base.
They do. Yes, they do. Yes, as a matter of fact, they're very responsive. I've had to call myself on a couple of, as an example, they usually pick up the carcass within 24 hours. We've had situations where, they were not in the local area at the time. They're trucked. You call them and the woman who runs the business, I think she's the owner, Kelly, very responsive. And so, yes, they do have a local office.
And they're for only, there's no other animals that are killed.
They pick up most dead animals that we would call about. Yeah, correct.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Any comments or questions from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, thank you. Roll call.
Ballas, Rutino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 27.
Bid contract with Northeast Plumbing Services Limited Liability Corporation to provide supplemental plumbing maintenance and repair, amount not to exceed $294,000 for a 2-year period.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public? Oh,
No comments from the public.
okay. Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Rutino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 28, please.
Bid contract with U.S. Corrections Limited Liability Corporation to provide prisoner transportation services, amount not to exceed $29,000.
Motion.
Second.
Made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Hey, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Rutino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 29.
Bid contract with Electra Tech Incorporated to provide replacement lighting at the Atlantic County Justice Facility, amount not to exceed $134,400.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Hey, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Rutino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 30.
Bid contract with Multi-Temp Mechanical Incorporated for electrical maintenance, repairs, and emergency services at the Atlantic County Justice Facility. Amount not to exceed $148,625.
Second.
Motion made second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes. Motion carries. Resolution 31.
Bid contract with Rich Fire Protection Company Incorporated for providing fire sprinkler head replacement, inspections, and miscellaneous repairs at various locations. Amount not to exceed $203,000 for a 2-year period.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Okay, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Ballas, Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
We lose?
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 32.
Bid contract with Tri-County Termite and Pest Control Incorporated to provide pest management services for various county locations. Amount not to exceed $84,490 for a 2-year period.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Okay, seeing none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes. Resolution 34, please.
We're at 33.
I'm just trying to, I'm going to do every other one right now. Resolution number 33.
Renewal lease agreement with Career Opportunity Development Incorporated to operate a coffee shop at the Atlantic County Civil Courts Building and the Atlantic County Criminal Courts Complex Building.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made second. Any commissioner comments? Okay, seeing none. Do we have any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, thank you. Roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes. Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries.
Bertino.
Resolution 34, please.
Lease agreement with Halawasa Incorporated for use of facilities to conduct 48-hour intoxicated driver resource center programs. Amount not to exceed $32,250.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 35.
Lease agreements with various nutrition sites throughout the county, amount not to exceed $85,545.12 for a 3-year period.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
That's money we're spending tonight. Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 36.
Agreement with Children's Specialized Hospital for the provision of special child health services, amount not to exceed $17,529.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Davis.
You might have gone off.
Okay. Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 37.
Agreement with the Youth Advocate Program for community engagement activities amount not to exceed $14,820.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days. I'm sorry, what, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 38.
Extraordinary unspecifiable services contract with Atlantic Prevention Resources to provide an overdose fatality review team, amount not to exceed $85,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing none, any public comments?
No public comment.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 39.
Intergovernmental Services Agreement with the Cape May County for the provision of juvenile detention services at the Atlantic County Juvenile Detention Facility. Revenue generating.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call. Have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino, Commissioner Bertino, was that a yes?
Take it off mute out there in the western part of the county.
Yes, it was. It's off.
Okay.
Must be a bad connection. I'm getting crisscrossed with Atlantic City, I think.
Yeah, right.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days. Oh, he left. Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Resolution 40.
Intergovernmental Services Agreement with the Juvenile Justice Commission for operation of the juvenile detention program at Harborfield to extend the term date. Net increase $235,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any commissioner comments?
Don't y'all think they got Jerry? Jerry? Don't think resolution 40 got by me, okay?
Well, no, just so you know, this was presented to the Budget Subcommittee. The state, as you know, is working from home. They asked us to extend 1 month just to give them an opportunity to review what was going to be, what they need to do for 2021. So they asked to extend this one month. So.
I understand. I just want to let you know, I know it was a net increase. I don't want you to think it got by me.
Any other commissioner comments? I see none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 41.
Renewal shared services agreement with Gloucester County for housing of Gloucester County inmates at the Atlantic County Justice Facility. Revenue generating.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 42.
Resolution approving an agreement to transfer title and possession of a 2002 Chevrolet Malibu to the Board of Education of the Summers Point School District at a cost of $1.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Hey, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Rotino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 43.
Authorizing the county to transfer ownership of a pickup truck not needed for county use to the city of Port Republic at a cost of $1.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Hey, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Rutino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 44.
Alternate method contract with the Center for Family Services for the provision of client-specific services, amount not to exceed $2,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public. Ballas,
Yes.
Rotino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Motion carries. Resolution 45.
Resolution of the County of Atlantic in support of New Jersey Association of Counties retaining an actuary to review contributions to the Public Employees Retirement System and in support of the state of New Jersey fully funding their portion of the pension system.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair.
Yes, please.
Yeah, sure. This is so important. You know, Atlantic County and many other municipalities have not taken a pension holiday and not submitted their pension payments, although the state has on many occasions. So it is very important to make sure that we support this and hopefully force the hand of the state to make 100% of the contribution that is due as each and every one of their members that contribute into the pension system.
Thank you, Commissioner. Have any other commissioner comments?
Madam Chair, if I may,
Commissioner?
to my colleague there, can you explain that a little bit more, or did I miss something? I'm not as astute as some of you. So can you just give me a little bit more? What are you referring to?
So this resolution is going along with NJAC to ask the state to contribute 100% into their amount due towards the pension, and not take another pension holiday as the state has taken in the past.
So I'm clear. We get 2 pension-free checks a year, correct? I'm just asking general, because if you're talking about pension-free and you're saying that this should, maybe I'm
No,
misunderstanding what you're doing.
This has nothing to do with an employee not paying into the pension. What it has to do with is the state, there's a required amount that the employee pays X amount of dollars each month towards their pension.
Right.
The state and municipalities and counties are required to pay their half. On many occasions, the state has said, we're not putting that money into the pension. We're going to use it someplace else because we don't have it.
Understood. Okay.
Go
ahead, Jerry.
I was just going to solidify what Commissioner Ballas is saying. So what happened this year and what caused this is the fact that NJAC did a study, a very large unfunded liability. So what happened was that unfunded liability now goes to counties and municipalities. So for this year in our budget, just so you understand, the county's pension system is going up by $1.5 million. And that gets, that increase is based on the number of employees we have. So if you went to Newark, well, I don't want to say Newark, because that's a city. If you go to Essex County or Hudson County, their numbers are very large as well. This unfunded liability, meaning the state has not made their annual contribution, it becomes an unfunded liability. That unfunded liability now is going to towns and to counties. And so that's what is occurring. So what happened this year was NJAC decided to do an actuarial so that we could see exactly the real size of that actuarial and to see if we could convince the state to begin making their payments based on what their actual costs should be. That's the basis of this resolution.
Thank you.
And Commissioner, just to further expand on what Jerry's saying, this goes across party lines. This has happened with Republican governors, with Democratic governors for many years. So it's something that I believe that has to stop, and they need to make their payments.
I wasn't going to comment no more, but since you had to throw a dig in there, Republicans and Democrats, I mean, this sounds like a political commercial, but I wasn't going to go that route. But since you mentioned it, so I didn't think it had to do with a DRR. But since you brought it up, now I'm questioning it. I think you're taking a shot at my governor.
No. It's
I think you are. I think you are, and I don't like it. I'll deal with you later.
Madam Chair, you're on mute.
Everybody stop talking because I stopped.
Thank you.
Jerry.
Any other commissioner comments? Okay, seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Patino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes, Frankie.
Days? Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Bisley?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 46.
Designation of Atlantic County Public Agency Compliance Officer pursuant to NJAC 17:27-3.3.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Right now I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolution number 49 to 53.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair, I do want to mention, I do see Jeffrey Dorsey, who's one of the appointees on our public list there. So I just want to say thanks to him for serving, as well as the rest of the appointees here.
Thank you. Any other commissioner comments?
Yeah, one, Madam Chair. Can we pull out 51?
Okay. So we are now, okay, we've asked to pull 51.
Out of that group.
Okay. Okay, so no other comments from the commissioners at this time? Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call on everything but 51.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 51, please.
Appointment of Michael McCree Jr. to the Atlantic County Agricultural Development Board for a term expiring December 1, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Recused.
Corsi?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution number 54.
Resolution objecting to the cost of a special election for the Atlantic County District 3 Commissioner being the obligation of the taxpayers of Atlantic County and urging the state to encumber the cost. Sponsor Maureen Kern.
Thank you.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
since this is a resolution, let me just say that we know that the state is not going to pay for it, and that it is unfortunately that there was an election held in District 3, and a winner was declared and certified. The courts, through the Republican Party, objected to it. So therefore, maybe the Atlantic County Republican Party ought to pay for the election in District 3 and not the state of New Jersey, because it was certified and that she was declared the winner. It was taken to court because of the Republican Party, and that they want the state to pay for what the locals have done. We're going to point the finger. Let's point the finger correctly in terms of, I would agree that it should not be a special election at all in District 3 because there was a winner. However, we know what we're facing at this particular time, and I believe the judge is going to do the right thing after the hearing. But again, it took a time, took a little time, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, and somebody has to pay for it. I think that Dr. Witherspoon, Thelma Witherspoon should have been seated, and we wouldn't be talking about Resolution 54. And so, good luck getting the state to pay for it. If anybody wants to contribute from the Republican Party towards that election in District 3, I think the taxpayer would love it very much. That's my comment on Resolution 54.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other commissioner comments at this time?
Madam Chair, I think it's a reasonable request for us to at least attempt to get it paid for. The Atlantic County Clerk, although this fell under his jurisdiction, is blaming the state voter registration system for the error. So I think it makes sense for us to ask the state to pay for the special election as a result of what the county clerk is calling their error and not his.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other commissioner comments?
Madam Chair, I wasn't going to say anything, but to my colleague over there, the former mayor, let me just say again that at the end of the day, there was an election, it was certified. It was certified. And I am sure we all on this Zoom or this WebEx meeting would agree there has been some errors made in the past, but it should not have even got to the fact that where it was certified. If it was going to be challenged, it should have been prior to and not the 11th hour. So that costs taxpayers money. I think that challenge should have came early on, and I think it should have gone before the courts, way before. And again, I'm not fighting with the chair for putting this up. I'm just saying good luck getting the state to pay for it. But the Republican Party in Atlantic County needs to take full responsibility, causing taxpayers additional money to call for the special election.
Mr. Commissioner, your sound just went crazy.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
Your sound is so crazy. You're blowing up your mic.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I'm still having fun.
Now you're busy. Now you're better. Now you're better.
Okay.
Thank
Do
you.
I have any other commissioner comments? Okay, seeing none. Do we have any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
No.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 55.
Resolution of support for New Jersey Senate Resolution number 106, sponsors Karen L. Fitzpatrick and Ernest D. Corsi.
Move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any comments from the commissioners?
I will comment. We put this resolution forward to reinforce what the Senate said in a bipartisan manner. I think we all saw last Wednesday on January 6th, the horrific activities in Washington, D.C., and we'll all condemn those activities. And rather than go through and read the entire lengthy legalese resolution, there's a summation statement at the end. If we could just have that read into the record, I would like that.
Do we have any other comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair, before we move to read that ending into the record, let me also weigh in to say that I certainly rise in support of this resolution because what we've seen in Washington, D.C. on January 6th is unacceptable, despicable. And when you have a president of the United States exciting a riot and encouraging people to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue to storm the Capitol, what type of leader is that? Costs taxpayers, it costs people's lives, it costs such divisiveness in this country. And we have some of them same Donald Trump Republicans right here in Atlantic County. And sometimes I question some of who I serve with, because at the end of the day, they refuse to denounce the foolishness and the unacceptable. Again, we can agree to disagree, but what happened last week is unacceptable. There's no way around it. Nobody can make an excuse for it. And if you continue to support it behind the scene, they need to be exposed no matter who they are. You know, why couldn't they go out gracefully? You lost, you lost. I've never heard one individual tell so many lies about an election, and none of it was found to be true. But you still have some Republican, and we got a few of them Democrats around here that wanted to believe that foolishness, but the Republican Party has led this national charge, and what they did to this country is a disgrace, and I don't know how any of you, and I'm not saying you on this board, sanction that, but how you could even support something like that, because most folks haven't said a mumbling word. They sit here like bumps on the log and did not denounce Donald Trump and his craziness, and those senators and those assembly, those Congress people like Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham, just to name a couple. And this is what we want our kids to grow up and look at and watch. And then you want to know why the world's so damn crazy. You got an idiot who can't be out of the White House quick enough in the next 24 hours. And we hope and pray that party lines will come together and move this American agenda forward and not allow to repeat what happened last week. Look at TV today. Since Wednesday, the National Guards, police officers up and down this country march is on Washington because they're afraid what may happen tomorrow. And not only in Washington, D.C., but in other states across this country where they're beefed up patrol because of these radicals, racists, bigots, these folks who walking around with these Confederate flags. You call it for what it is. And if you're afraid to say it, I'll say it for you. We cannot, in 2021, allow this foolishness to happen. I said it last week, and I'll say it again today. If that would have been Black Lives Matter or folks who look like me wanted to storm the Capitol, we'd have got shot, pepper sprayed, dogs, the water hose, you name it. They would have brought the whole damn troop out. But it didn't happen here. And we sit here and act like there's nothing to it, and it didn't happen. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Up and down this damn state of New Jersey, across this country, every Democrat, every Republican should be denouncing this foolishness. But this scoundrel can't get out of the White House quick enough. We need to detox the White House and move America forward. Because I don't know anybody with a good conscience would even want to live in a place that you tell your kids and your grandkids that was okay, because it wasn't. Dr. King, we just celebrated the other day, would not accept that foolishness yesterday. He was for peace and bringing people together. And here it is, a day before the inaugural of our next president, and we're sitting there with all the security, all the taxpayers' money, putting up wires and fencing, the National Guards sleeping on floors to make sure people are safe. Just lose their life, get hit in the head with a fire extinguisher doing his job. Where's the cry out? Folks sit on their behinds and scared to say something. I never forget, 4 years ago, some of my colleagues on this freeholder board at the time was afraid to come out against Donald Trump. You knew he was no good then, and he's no good today. But you dared to take on the Republican Party because you were afraid that you would not get the line to run for re-election. You came out and denounced Donald Trump. The Republican Party had it in for you. History has a tendency of repeating itself. Just 4 years ago, you had folks on the fence that did not want to support Donald Trump, was afraid to say it publicly. And 2 weeks before he leaves the White House, look what shame he's made America. We're the laughing damn of the world. I pray, going forward tomorrow, the new administration, that we try to heal the wounds and to move America forward. And again, as I often state, we can agree to disagree. But what happened last week is unacceptable. And if any of y'all will sit there and believe that Donald Trump is telling the truth, y'all need your head examined. Misaccusations, election stolen from him, telling folks that to decertify elections in different states, and we sit here and sanction that foolishness. Are you kidding me? Let that been a Democrat. Y'all have been in uproar, raising holy hell, stopping folks at the borders. Going forward, it's all of our responsibility. They said we're better than this. We can do better. We will do better. Words matter. That joker has done nothing but commit a fraud and nothing else other than excite a riot. And all those kind of people and senators and staffers' lives was at jeopardy because this guy wanted to act like a clown because he lost the election. Innocent people go to work every day. Didn't know if they were going to make it home that night because you had those folks come and they're going to blame it on everybody but them. I didn't say that. I didn't. Look at the tape. Urge them to go down Pennsylvania Avenue, storm the Capitol, and look what happened. If I didn't know no better, I think they were attempting not only to have Nancy Pelosi and others killed, I wonder if they had Pence in that same number. Because Pence stood up and did the right thing and followed the constitutional. Even though it was against him losing, being the vice president of the United States, he stood up and did what he was was elected to do. Going forward, just because it's 50-50 with the vice president, Kamala Harris coming in 51, breaking the tide, we have to find ways to reach across the aisle and do what's right for America. It might not always be the most political and the most expedient thing to do, but we as elected officials have a responsibility to the people who elected us to do a job. Show up and do our damn job, not excite a riot, not bring down America. We fighting among ourselves. Unacceptable. I don't know if any of y'all have any loved ones in the National Guard who's been detoured and sanctioned to D.C. Hope and pray none of these nuts show up the next day or so and cause another riot. I don't know how we sleep at night. Think he said and done was okay.
They should be shaming themselves. And don't get it wrong, I got some black Democrats who think the same way. So don't think it's just y'all. And I'm not saying my colleagues on this board stand today and said they sanctioned what he did. But mighty funny, most of you haven't spoken up one way or the other. And going forward, I think, again, it's all of our responsibility to do what's right. Do what's right. Because it's easy to do the right thing. It's easy to run and hide and run for shelter and cover. But step it up. Because we all work for the people. That's why we're elected, to do the people's bidding, not to tear down America. A disgrace. And you know what? It's interesting. This joker wants to ride off to some big parade to send his behind to Florida. I had my way. I tell him to walk. But that's not the way it works. And so at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to support this resolution because it's the right thing to do. We have to stand up and say wrong is wrong and right is right. Yeah, we might lose some friends along the way. Who gives a rat's tail? It probably wasn't your friends anyway. So I urge my colleagues to support this resolution, and I know it might stomach some of you, but it's the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other commissioner comments at this time?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Bertino.
Thank you. I heard the commissioner's opinion and thoughts on it. One of the things that came to mind when I read the resolution that the Senate's proposing is it talks about a specific issue that's happened just last week in Washington at the Capitol, where I know all of us on this board do not condone violence that occurs any place. I think about the people the last 2 or 3 years that have been suffering in every state and every city in this country that sat down, lost their lives through protest. We watched it on TV. We listened to all the commentators talking about it. And we never gave those poor innocent Americans an opportunity, at least to say that what was happening to them was wrong. If this board wants to move on this resolution, I think you should include in the resolution all the people that were impacted across this country the last 2 or 3 years. They were wrong. They were hurt. They were injured. They died. And nobody said a thing about it. So if you want to make a comment about the president only and say it's only his fault, when we all know it's everybody across this country, it's time for this board. Don't play politics with something that's this important. You want to make a statement, make it across this country about all these innocent Americans that were injured. That's what I want to see the board do. Not pick one person and talk about he's the only guy. We know better than that. And we're better than that as people on this board. Consider that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Have any other
Madam Chair.
Yeah, Commissioner.
The purpose of county government is to provide services for the cities in the county, to do it as efficiently because they cannot do it on their own. We provide services to the cities and the government. This going down these roads with things pertaining to things that are outside the county, I don't think it's appropriate. I think it's totally inappropriate. And we don't want to start going down this road because there'll be other resolutions of all different types. So I am not supporting this resolution. I'm sorry. I am not supporting this resolution. Yes, we all condemn violence. We condemn it all, but we're not going to go down this road. My vote's no.
Do I have any other comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair?
I'll comment. We're talking about insurrection on the capital of this country, storming the Capitol, and the incitement of that. It is unbelievable to me that there is any question about this. Very disappointing.
Madam Chair?
Hold on, Commissioner, let me see if do we have any other commissioners at this time that want to speak?
You didn't see nobody. I'm the only one talking.
No? Commissioner Ballas would like to speak.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with Commissioner Corsi. I agree with Commissioner Fitzpatrick. What happened in Washington should have never happened, and I don't believe there's just anybody on this commission that would condone the actions that took place. My only problem with this resolution is the part where we are asking this to be sent, I guess, to Washington to ask for either the 25th Amendment, impeachment, or for the president to resign. Probably in a little over 12 hours, the president will be walking out of the White House and it's over and done with. So as Commissioner Corsi said earlier with a previous resolution, it isn't going to make any difference whatsoever other than just create controversy within the Board of Commissioners within the county and have basically little snippets that could be used in campaigns, whether you supported President Trump, didn't support President Trump. What happened there is atrocious. His actions were atrocious, but to ask him to be impeached, which he's going to be gone, to ask for the 25th Amendment, which he's going to be gone, or ask him to resign, which we all know he'll never resign, but he's leaving anyway. And I think that for myself, I'm glad to see that, but it's very hard to make a yes or no vote on this resolution. It's a no-win situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Gatto?
Thank you. I echo Commissioner Ballas's sentiments wholeheartedly. I absolutely condemn the actions that occurred 1000%. But how we say we want to move forward, but then want to pursue an impeachment trial after he has left office in the next 12 hours, it just doesn't make sense to me. Those are two contradictory things in my mind. I think we need to be moving forward. We need to be focused on what's happening here. And I would love to pass a resolution condemning just the actions. I think the other elements are kind of moot and not of value at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner. I am going to make a comment right now just because I'm just being told that our WebEx ends at 8 o'clock. So, I apologize for that, but it does end at 8 o'clock. So,
Oh, I'm gonna get my message in. So go ahead.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
No disrespect, Madam Chair, and I promise you I'll be done in 2 minutes. At the end of the day, when Commissioner Bertino wants to challenge me, what he should have been saying, I also challenged when Steve Young and others did the demonstrations and stuff in Atlantic City, which was unacceptable and outrageous. I didn't hear you say a mumbling word. But the minute I said something about Donald Trump, your hair got up on your back. Get over it. Get over it. At the end of the day, wrong is wrong, and I don't give a rat's tail who it is. Steve Young was no better. Steve Young was no better than Donald Trump. And this board, if my memory serves me right, we passed a resolution denouncing that foolishness and said unacceptable. So sit there and get cute and play all that stuff about how loyal you are to the party. That's wonderful. But wrong is still wrong. And the man, what he did, excited a riot, he was dead wrong. You know it and I know it. And the fact of the matter is you're right. He's going to be impeached twice. Well, he has been twice, right? I get it. And he's out in 12 hours. Well, we need to stand up as a board to make a statement. We don't accept it and we do not condone it. Not saying he's out in 12 hours. That's a wicky, swishy, slippery way out. That's what that is.
Make a motion to table.
Table for what? Voted up or down?
Was there a second?
Vote it up or down. Stop playing the game. Up or down. You tabling it for it. Come back, it's gonna be the same damn issue.
I have a motion on the table to table it. Do I have a second?
I would say.
So I have a motion and a second to table it, so then there's discussion.
Madam Chair, before the
Yes.
vote, I think Commissioner Ballas has made a bad mistake making a motion. When I tell you, we will pack the next meeting out. All you had to do is vote it up or down. This is the most slimy way out. Up or down. What are you tabling for? It makes no sense at all.
Since the motion is made and tabled, there's no more discussion on this.
I could discuss before the vote, but you can do the vote now.
No, I can't. do the vote.
Tell me
I
the
have a
rules.
motion.
I know the
Well,
rules.
and I have a second. I'm going to go to Mr. Andrian. I have a motion to table and a second to table. From what I understand, the discussion's over.
Oh, I said what I need to say.
You're on mute. Mr. Andrian, you're on.
That's correct. I believe, given the second, you should vote on the.
So it's tabled. There's no more discussion?
Right. Call the roll.
Roll to table. Is that what I'm doing?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to call the roll to table.
Val,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
No.
Fitzpatrick,
No.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That takes us into, concludes the written portion of the agenda. And do we have any reports of special committees of the board? We have 5 minutes.
Just one, Madam Chair.
Yes?
Bridges and Roads Committee met recently. We discussed the 2021 capital improvement budget. We discussed the status of some of the existing projects and some of the goals we want to accomplish for this year. Board was sent all the minutes, I believe, from the meeting as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other reports? Okay, seeing none. Any unfinished business? Seeing none. Any new business? I have one thing that the members of organized labor have asked us to review and update the county's existing responsible bidder policy that has been in place since the year, I think, it's 2000. Many changes have taken place in the past 20 years, and our existing policies should be updated to reflect changes in the law. So I plan to bring forth an updated responsible bidder policy at our next meeting. Do I have any other new business? Seeing none, we've received copies of written communication. Do I have any written communication? Seeing none, we'll open to the public for the public portion. If you'd like to, put in the box. Do we have anything from the public?
Yes, Mr. Creed Pogue has a comment, and we have 3 minutes, unfortunately. He's being raised. Is he raised? Mr. Pogue, you can speak.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Couple of quick things, and I'll try not to take the whole 3 minutes. The first is that impeachment is unique in the Constitution in that it does have effects on people who are out of office for things such as pensions, staff, Secret Service protection, etc. The spectacle of taxpayers paying to protect a man going around the world on foreign business deals or potentially incarceration would be something that the only way to prevent that is impeachment. And Secretary Ward Belknap, back in the Grant administration, was impeached after he left office. This resolution was passed by the state Senate on a bipartisan basis. People who know anything about New Jersey politics know that Monmouth County State Senator Declan O'Scanlan is not a Reno. And so is one of the most conservative members of the body, but he voted for it. And I would say, with all respect, on 2 parts. One, Vice President Biden and now to be Vice President
Harris have been consistent in their condemnations of violence, protests, whatever was the quote unquote reason, whether it was police overreach or something else. Unfortunately, the current president of the United States, you can't say that. The other part is that with due deference to the newer member, well, to actually the re-elected member, this board has passed many resolutions over the years on various public policy issues when it had a red sponsor. So, Mr. Adrian, that's the type of thing I said to you at the beginning. Whether it would be smooth sailing after that, I don't know it'll work out that way. And we'll see how that goes. I didn't say Happy New Year to everybody, but Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. We got 1 minute to go. Is there anybody else from the public?
Madam Chair, motion for adjournment.
There's no one else from the public.
Okay. And I'll take a motion to adjourn. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.